Chapter 46-72. With just one look, Lin Ling felt extremely peaceful and serene in his heart. Then, he was secretly shocked. He did not even state his intentions, but Zen Master Wuchao already knew why he was there. I can tell you that you can obtain the Mahayana Buddhist Dharma, and it's an extremely powerful divine ability called the universe's three extremes destruction. Zen Master Wuchao said with a smile. Huh? What? Lin Ling was shocked again. Not only did he know his goal, but he also knew that he would succeed. That was too fake. Lord Prison, although I know that you can obtain the Mahayana Buddhist Dharma, I don't know how you obtained it. As if he knew what Lin Ling was thinking, Zen Master Wuchao said again. Lin Ling's eyes flickered as he kept thinking. He suddenly smiled and said, "At the godly Mt. Meru, those who have a deep understanding of Buddhism and Buddhist Dharma can obtain Buddhist Dharma divine abilities. As for me, I only have the Vajra Bodhi, so it's a little difficult for me to obtain a medium Buddhist Dharma. However, I want the Mahayana Buddhist Dharma, and Zen Master Wuchao is sure that I can obtain it." Could it be that Zen Master Wuchao wants to impart his Buddhist Dharma insights to me? As soon as he said that, Zen Master Wuchao's eyes lit up and he said kindly, "Lord, your talent in Buddhist Dharma insights is very good. If you can obtain my Buddhist Dharma insights, it won't be difficult for you to obtain the Mahayana Buddhist Dharma. However, I can't figure it out, see, or hear it clearly. I hope you can give me some pointers." Lin Ling smiled faintly when he heard that. "Master, please speak your mind." He cursed inwardly. "Give me some pointers. How could I see through something that even a Buddhist god could not see through? Hell is uneasy. How should we suppress it?" Zen Master Wuchao looked at Lin Ling and asked. Lin Ling frowned immediately. Hell is uneasy because of chaos. How should we suppress it? That's right. I recite the Rebirth Sutra for them every day to wash away the evil aura. Unfortunately, hell is still uneasy after thousands of years. Zen Master Wuchao said indifferently. Lin Ling's eyes flickered. He really had no idea what to do. If it were him, he would have killed anyone who dared cause trouble. However, Zen Master Wuchao was a Buddhist god. He had probably never killed anyone in his entire life, so how could he kill those evil ghosts? Suddenly, Lin Ling had a flash of inspiration as he recalled everything recorded in the prison. Back then, Zen Master Wuchao had released a fiend celestial, causing countless living beings to be implicated and enter the netherworld, causing countless complaints. Could this be what Zen Master Wuchao was talking about? It's simple. Hell is restless. Kill it. Hell is in chaos. Kill it. Hell collapses. Kill it. Lin Ling said indifferently. Zen Master Wuchao's eyes lit up as he looked at Lin Ling in disbelief. Buddhas don't kill. If they kill, what makes them Buddhas? Buddha is in one's heart, not in one's mouth. Buddha says that if I don't enter hell, who will? Hell is restless because it dances for the demons. Even if one reincarnates, the evil aura will be extremely strong and they will only kill more people. Back then, Zen Master Wuchao released a fiend celestial and caused the deaths of billions of living beings. However, if Zen Master Wuchao had killed that fiend celestial back then, there would have been peace. Lin Ling said calmly, "Zen Master Wuchao, you have a Buddhist precept in your heart. If you don't dare to kill a saint or break the precept, you won't enter hell or save the suffering of all living beings. To put it bluntly, you're being selfish. As the saying goes, Buddha is in one's heart. If you don't take the butcher's knife, I'll take the butcher's knife. I'll shoulder all the sins for the sake of all living beings in the world. That's Buddha." Towards the end, Lin Ling and Zen Master Wuchao looked straight into each other's eyes. Zen Master Wuchao shuddered and pressed his palms together. "Amitabha. I swear that I won't become Buddha until hell is empty. My lord, I understand what you mean. Hell is restless and needs to be suppressed. After raising his head, Zen Master Wuchao's eyes were filled with wisdom as though he had understood something. My lord, your understanding of Buddhism is even above mine. It's a pity that you didn't join the Buddhist sect. Zen Master Wuchao, it's time for you to go kill someone now, right? Lin Ling smiled and reminded Zen Master Wuchao. Everything is predetermined. This is also the karma between us. This Buddha bead can increase your understanding of Buddhism and is enough to obtain the Mahayana Buddhist Dharma. Zen Master Wuchao smiled and waved his arm. An ancient Buddha bead floated towards Lin Ling. Lin Ling received it and checked it briefly. He was shocked. This Buddhist bead contained a terrifying amount of Buddhist energy, and it was like a staircase to the gods. He reckoned that with this Buddhist bead in his possession, even if he didn't know how to use it, no mid-level gods would be able to harm him. Zen Master Wuchao, this Buddha bead is for me. Lin Ling could not help but ask with a frown. However, Zen Master Wuchao had already closed his eyes and entered a meditative state. Lin Ling called out a few more times, but there was no response from Zen Master Wuchao. He shook his head helplessly. He had a feeling that Zen Master Wuchao had gone to the underworld to suppress hell. Although Zen Master Wuchao was imprisoned in the square prison, this ancient god was too powerful. He definitely had the means to reach the underworld and suppress hell. I didn't expect that I would get such an opportunity just by instigating him to kill someone. Lin Ling was speechless. He left the square prison. When he appeared in the inn again, the sky was already bright. Buddhist chants could be heard, and the common people in the city were chanting Buddhist scriptures. It was a peaceful scene. I thought that the world I saw represented the entire era, but now I know that there are countless experts in the universe. Shaking his head, Lin Ling hurried to find Lei Gong. Then, the two of them headed for the godly Mtshimi. Amitabha. Perhaps it was because they were wearing Buddhist prayer beads, but the passers-by bowed to Lin Ling and the others. This also surprised Lei Gong. Lin Ling did not receive such treatment yesterday. Walking along the main road, the godly Mtshimi gradually came into view. The mountain was illuminated by Buddhist light. Anyone who stood at the foot of the mountain immediately felt a sense of worship. The mountain was incomparably grand, as if a benevolent Buddha was lying on the ground. Look, Dhritarashtra is here to comprehend Buddhism again. He has been here for 300 years. Previously, Arhat contemplation had already obtained a Buddhist divine ability at the Hinayana Buddhist scripture. He only took 10 years. Arhat contemplation is the reincarnation of the 18 Arhats. It's not strange for him to obtain a Buddhist divine ability, but it's a little embarrassing that he only obtained a Hinayana Buddhist scripture. Do you think it's easy to obtain a Buddhist divine ability? Last time, I heard that even a Buddha god returned empty-handed. Buddhism has always only passed on to those who are fated. At the foot of the godly Mtshimi, discussions could be heard. Because this place was one of the birthplaces of Buddhism, the Buddhist divine ability was very powerful. Therefore, even a reincarnated god would not want to miss this opportunity. So many people. Lei Gong looked around and exclaimed in shock. Lin Ling nodded and looked ahead. He saw 3 paths leading to the top of the mountain. They probably represented the Mahayana, Intermediate, and Hinayana Buddhist scriptures respectively. Lin Ling, I'm not going. With my origin, I don't think I'll gain anything. Chapter 46-73. Alright. Lin Ling also knew about Lei Gong's concerns. He headed straight for the Mahayana Buddhism path. This path was also the path with the fewest people. Someone's going to the Mahayana Buddhism path. Oh my god, is he looking for a commission? The Mahayana Buddhism path has been here for so many years. There are less than 100 people who dare to go there. Now, there are only 9 people at the top of the mountain. He's probably new. He thinks that the Mahayana Buddhism path is more powerful, so he went straight for the best path. If he's evaluated by the Buddhism path's malice and kindness, his strength will be washed away. That'll be fun. Whispers could be heard. It was obvious that the Mahayana Buddhism path was not easy to obtain. On the Mahayana Buddhism path, there were a few sweeping monks in grey robes sweeping the floor. They spoke as they swept. I heard that sweeping here for 100 years will give you 5,000 Tao realm fragments. I just came. Is that true? One of them said. Of course. Do you think this job is easy to get? Only people who have obtained the light of the Buddha God in their previous life can come here to sweep. That's great. Only 100 years and 5,000 Tao realm fragments. It's worth it. Do it well and don't talk. What made Lin Ling speechless was that these sweeping monks were not formed by Tao realm intent, but real ancient gods. Most importantly, they swept so excitedly that it gave people a strange feeling. Of course, this was normal. 5,000 Tao realm fragments was not a small number. After all, not everyone was like Lin Ling who knew some cheating methods to obtain Tao realm fragments. Who are you? Suddenly, these sweeping monks looked at Lin Ling. I want to go to the Mahayana Buddhism path. Lin Ling said indifferently. Amitabha. Benefactor, this path has been closed by the Buddha God. You'd better leave. A benevolent old man said to Lin Ling, this path is a path of death for those who are not fated with Buddha. I can't bear to kill, so I advise you to leave. If it was anyone else, they would definitely be terrified. This was the great Buddhist kingdom, and those who were related to Buddhism would definitely be extremely powerful and highly respected. They could not be offended. Unfortunately, Lin Ling knew since the beginning that these weren't formed from the will of a Tao realm expert, so he didn't believe them at all. Thank you, senior, but I've already made up my mind. Lin Ling said. Damn it, does this brat even understand human language? The sweeping monks all cursed inwardly. They didn't want Lin Ling to walk the path of Mahayana Buddhism because the moment someone left, Bodhi leaves would fall from the godly Amtishimi, which would increase the time they had to spend sweeping the floor. They originally thought that Lin Ling was a little deity and would definitely give them face. But who knew that Lin Ling did not buy it at all? Little friend, if you really want to leave, Buddha wants to test you. What is your cultivation level? The old man's tone was not good either. Early stage low god. Lin Ling said calmly. Good, Jiju, you come and defeat him. If he loses, let him walk the path of Hinayana Buddhism. The old man pointed at the person behind him and said to Lin Ling, this is a test, if you fail, it can only be said that you are not fated with Buddha. Lin Ling immediately looked at the sweeping monk who walked out. This person looked to be in his 40s, and there was a Buddhist halo around him. However, his strength was only at the early stage of mid-god. A test, defeat him? Lin Ling shook his head. He thought it would be a difficult test, but in the end, it was only an early stage mid-god. With Lin Ling's current strength, this level of cultivation was nothing in his eyes. Little brat, Buddha says, be kind to others. Do you know what you're doing is not being kind to others, it's doing a great evil. The heavens are virtuous, I, Jiju, will definitely convert you and convert you to Buddhism. Kneel down, you strange Buddha. The sweeping monk said indifferently. His palms were clasped together, and the halo of benevolence of 100 lifetimes emanated from his body. Benevolence of 100 lifetimes, this meant that this person had been benevolent for 100 lifetimes, saving countless people. With the halo of Buddha on him, his strength was not weak. Bang! However, just as the sweeping monk finished speaking, Lin Ling's fist punched out, passing through the halo of Buddha and smashing into the sweeping monk's nose. Pooh! A mouthful of blood spurted out from his nose, and the sweeping monk was sent flying. You actually dared to hit my nose. You actually dared to sneak attack me. Landing on the ground, the sweeping monk roared, his nose was also bleeding madly. The surrounding sweeping monks were also enraged. This person actually dared to sneak attack. In the distance, the onlookers were also shocked. In the great Buddha nation, this young man actually dared to hit a Buddha. Killing is not allowed in the great Buddha nation, otherwise, would definitely teach you a lesson. However, since you dare to humiliate Buddhism, I want you to kowtow 3,000 times in front of Buddha. The sweeping monk rubbed his nose and rushed back. His body was covered in Buddhist halo, and his divine energy was incomparably terrifying. Bang! However, just as he finished speaking, Lin Ling's fist arrived again, breaking the Buddhist halo and landing on the sweeping monk's nose. You hit my nose again, I'll fight you to the death. Aya, why aren't you afraid of my Dharma halo? Don't hit my nose again, I'll kneel before Buddha. How could the sweeping monk be Lin Ling's opponent? After a few punches, he finally knelt down and kowtowed to the godly empty shumi. The surrounding people frowned. If the first punch was due to Lin Ling's sneak attack, then the next punch was not the same. He relied on his own strength to defeat the sweeping monk. Most importantly, Lin Ling looked very relaxed. Lei Gong Lin Ling is indeed powerful. In front of the path of Buddhism, the old crow ancestor and Jin Jingyang were both present, looking at Lin Ling in shock. Looking at the other sweeping monks, they were all silent. This little god's strength was too strong. Even a mid-level sweeping monk narrowed his eyes. He suddenly had a feeling that if he fought with all his strength, he might not be a match for this young man. Who is this person? Ji Zhu was an extremely famous Buddhist god in the past. Now that she reincarnated, her strength should be above average. But that young man defeated her so easily. Could he be a first-rate mid-level god? I've never seen him before. He looks very unfamiliar. He seems to be Lei Gong Lin Ling, who was being chased by Emperor Shun. In the distance, many gods were also discussing. Looking at the path leading to the mountain peak, Lin Ling was already walking forward. On his body, the heavenly dragon's bones appeared, and Buddhist halo bloomed. The path looked calm, but there was a gentle Buddhist halo that prevented ordinary people from entering. Only those who were fated with Buddha could step on it. However, Lin Ling had two great Buddhist powers, so it was easy for him to walk. Fated with Buddha. Lin Ling put his hands behind his back and walked forward calmly. Naturally, he could sense that mysterious power, and he had a feeling that if he did not have the power of Buddhism, it would depend on his comprehension. Buddha was the most profound. There was no Bodhi tree, nor was there a mirror. There was nothing in the beginning, so where did dust come from? In a simple sentence, many people knew, but not many people could see through it. Everything in the world came in all shapes and sizes. Emptiness was nothingness. Killing was nothingness. Love was nothingness. Life was nothingness. Chapter 46-74. Perhaps, only the ancient supreme gods could comprehend this logic. To be able to comprehend it meant that they had already dominated the universe's great Tao laws. They could become one with the universe and control everything. In this life, I've killed countless people and saved countless people. Did the people I killed deserve to die? Did the people I saved deserve to be saved? Lin Ling muttered to himself. Even if the person deserved to be killed, who could guarantee that he would not do good deeds in the future? Who could guarantee that he would not do evil deeds after saving someone? Perhaps, everything had a cause and effect. That was the only way to explain everything. Shaking his head, Lin Ling continued to move forward. His seemingly slow pace made him feel like he had walked for thousands of lifetimes. The people he killed turned into nothingness. The people he saved also turned into nothingness. In the end, Lin Ling was still walking alone. Perhaps, this was also life. It was like a long journey. Whether he killed or saved, the people he met were all transient. They were also passers-by in life. As life grew, those passers-by would eventually leave. Finally, a ray of dawn shone down and landed on Lin Ling's body. He narrowed his eyes as his body felt warm. At this moment, his soul force was also slowly increasing. Sweeping his gaze, there were 9 people at the top of the mountain. Some of them were sitting cross-legged, while others were whispering. Looking ahead, there was a golden light hanging at the top of the mountain. It was as if a Buddha was sitting cross-legged there. However, although the light was gentle, it had a supreme divine might that rejected all people from approaching it. Thinking about it, that was the light of the Mahayana Buddhist Dharma. Buddha helps all living beings in the world. Why is it that I came because of its reputation, but Buddha keeps me at the door? A voice suddenly sounded. An old man with his palms together walked towards the golden light with a determined look in his eyes. He clearly wanted to obtain the Mahayana Buddhist Dharma. A 1,000-year-old old man, a sage with the title of Myriad Wisdom. On the other side, a few people were talking faintly. A young man with a sword on his back said calmly. This person was very strong, but his expression was calm. It was unforgettable. Such a person was like a true god. There was no murderous aura on him. Perhaps, only such a temperament and Buddha nature could allow him to reach the top of the mountain. Looking at the others, they were all the same. The Buddha has helped the world, but not everyone can enter Buddhism and comprehend the Mahayana Dharma. It is not a rejection, but a lack of Buddhist affinity. Suddenly, a woman spoke softly. She wore ordinary clothes and had an ordinary appearance, but she had a mysterious aura, and that aura was gentle. Ning Qingxin, why do you say that? The young man with a sword on his back asked with a frown. Buddhism is all about non-self, everything is void. However, there are so many living beings in the world. If everyone is non-self, the universe will be in chaos. No one will plant crops, no one will make clothes, and no one will meditate all day long. However, if basic necessities of life become a problem, how can one do good deeds? And the end result is that everyone will die and convert to me. Buddha, there will be no more living beings in this universe. The woman said with certainty. Ning Qingxin, you're so smart. Why didn't I think of that? The young man's eyes lit up as he came to a sudden realization. Therefore, not everyone can see through the great Tao when the Buddha guides the world. In the end, only a small portion of people can. Yes. The woman nodded. It could be seen that these people were very smart about Buddhism. As soon as the woman finished speaking, the old man from before failed. The gentle light refused to let him get close, and he stubbornly persisted. His life's cultivation was washed away and turned into nothingness. There were even 2 kinds of light that appeared on the old man's body. Black and white intertwined, but the white light was more dazzling. The black light represented evil, and the white light represented good. This meant that the old man had done more good than evil in his life. Sigh. The old man's cultivation was washed away. In the end, he couldn't get close. He sighed softly and turned to leave. The 1,000-year-old old man's light of good and evil is very dim. This means that he rarely does good and evil in his life. It's non-self, everything is void. However, he still failed. Is Mahayana Buddhism really that difficult to obtain? Seeing the old man leave, Ning Qingxin's eyes shone with wisdom as if she wanted to understand this layer of truth. The others were the same. They were constantly deducing and comprehending. However, at this moment, a figure walked towards the golden light. It was Lin Ling. Sir, be careful. Seeing someone walk forward, Ning Qingxin and the others were surprised. Previously, they were comprehending, so they didn't notice that someone else had come up. However, Lin Ling ignored them and continued to move forward. This person looks unfamiliar. Since he looks unfamiliar, he probably doesn't have a deep understanding of Buddhism. After all, I've heard of all the famous Buddhas in this era. The young man with the sword on his back said. Nothing is absolute in Shu Lin Sword Immortals. We can't look at things as usual. However, Ning Qingxin objected. Ning Qingxin, you're right. But do you think he can get close to Mahayana Buddhism? The young man nodded and asked. Everything is possible. However, according to common sense, it should be very difficult for him. Ning Qingxin shook her head and said. At this moment, the light of the heavenly dragon protection appeared on Lin Ling's body, allowing him to move forward 10 meters. However, the closer he got, the greater the resistance of the Buddha's light. Almost at the same time, the 6 Bodhi appeared above Lin Ling's head. The Bodhi seed. Ning Qingxin and the others' expressions changed slightly. They didn't expect this person to have cultivated the 6 Bodhi seeds. However, when Lin Ling took a few more steps forward, a white light appeared. It represented the good deeds that Lin Ling had done in his life. This white light was even more dazzling than the 1,000-year-old old man's. This meant that the good deeds that Lin Ling had done in his life were more than the 1,000-year-old old man's. This person is very good. Ning Qingxin exclaimed. To reach the light that Lin Ling had, he had definitely saved tens of billions of lives. Even she couldn't do it. And with the light of great good, he was undoubtedly closer to Mahayana Buddhism. No, look at his evil. Suddenly, the young man next to her gasped. Because a black light that was even more magnificent than the white light bloomed and illuminated the entire mountain top. This meant that Lin Ling had killed countless people in his life, more than tens of billions of lives. Great evil, this light is simply the first time I've seen it in my life. The others also spoke and exclaimed one after another. What a strange person. Great good was earth-shattering, but great evil was the head of the universe. Such a person also came to comprehend Buddhism. It was too strange. What a cold person. Ning Qingxin's heart was filled with curiosity, as if she wanted to know what this person had experienced in his life and how many hardships he had gone through. Great evil, it's hard to get close. The young man also frowned and said. In fact, he had seen many gods who killed people like scything flax. But generally speaking, such gods couldn't reach the top of the mountain. However, that person had succeeded. It was unbelievable. However, what shocked him even more was yet to come. Because Lin Ling, with great evil and great good, had actually walked further than the 1,000-year-old old man and had already arrived in front of the golden Buddha light. Most importantly, they had been comprehending here all day, but they hadn't walked as close as Lin Ling. Chapter 46-75. They had been meditating here for hundreds of years, or even tens of thousands of years. Everything was for the Mahayana Dharma. Legend had it that those who obtained the Mahayana Dharma were half a step away from eternity. Whether it was gods or humans, everyone pursued eternity and transcended the universe. Take the great calamity of the world's will as an example. If one had an eternal body, they would not have to fear the world's will. They would not die at all and would be eternally with the universe. However, the Mahayana Dharma was very difficult to obtain. Even if the gods of various eras had gathered, there were only a few who could truly obtain the Mahayana Dharma. At least, they had never seen anyone succeed in their tens of thousands of years here. However, a ferocious and evil person approached and walked further than them. Suddenly, Lin Ling stopped in his tracks and looked up at the Buddha's light in front of him. He sensed a strong resistance surging towards him as if it was washing away his negative karma, preventing him from approaching. What a powerful force! Lin Ling's eyes continued to flicker. He realized that what had protected him in front of the Buddha's light was the 6 Bodhi. The 6 Bodhi were left behind by cultivating the Bodhi verification divine technique. This technique was passed down by Bodhi Patriarch. But now, even the 6 Bodhi could not withstand the baptism of the Buddha's light. He's going to fail. Washing away his negative karma will also wash away his cultivation. He has failed in the end. Ning Qingxin frowned and said when she saw Lin Ling not moving. He's still a little short. The man next to her also nodded. But then, Lin Ling slowly stretched out his palm. His movements did not seem fast, but they gently landed on the Buddha's light. At that moment, his whole body bloomed with a soft light as if he had turned into a man of light and merged into the Buddha's light. What? Looking at the disappearing Yi Han, Ning Qingxin and the others were shocked again and again. They completely knew that the cold man had obtained the Mahayana Dharma. Why did it suddenly become like this? What did he rely on? Could it be that his understanding of Buddhism is really that high? That's the only explanation. Everyone was discussing. Who is he? Ning Qingxin's eyes continued to flicker. She was even more curious about the cold man. Of course, more than that, she wanted to seek guidance. She wanted that mysterious man to show her the way. At this moment, Lin Ling had entered a vast expanse of white space. Gods and Buddhas were dancing in the air, swastikas filled the sky, and all kinds of lights were like white horses galloping through the gaps. The stars, the sun, and the moon. It's not that Buddha doesn't want to cross the sea of bitterness, but Buddha is still in the sea of bitterness. How can he cross all of you? An ancient voice floated out, ancient and eternal. It carried a hint of helplessness as it lingered in Lin Ling's mind. Lin Ling opened his eyes and realized that the Buddha beads left behind by Zen Master Wuchao were emitting light to protect him. It turned out that at the most crucial moment, it was the prayer beads that had protected him as he entered this place. Amidst the endless light, it was still as if 10,000 Buddhas were paying homage to their ancestors. Lin Ling waited for a moment and frowned slightly. Wasn't there a Mahayana Buddhist Dharma? Why was there no movement at all? Suddenly, Lin Ling thought of the old voice from before. He guessed that the voice was asking him a question. He said indifferently, "The sea of bitterness is difficult, and there are too many fetters. Since that's the case, then let's kill our way over." This sentence also went straight to his heart. In the face of endless fetters and calamities, Lin Ling did not have the heart to save the world. He was very selfish and only valued the family and friends around him. Therefore, he would only kill to stop killing. Amidst the endless Buddha light, there was a slight silence. Suddenly, a sky full of gods and Buddhas appeared. They surrounded a colorful light and slowly flew towards Lin Ling. The scene was incomparably spectacular. It could be said that 10,000 Buddhas were worshipping the sect. Lin Ling's eyes flashed. He suddenly had a feeling that the colorful light was a Mahayana Buddhist Dharma. It was also the three extremes of the universe that Zen Master Wuchao spoke of. Clearly, there were countless Mahayana Buddhist Dharma in godly empty shimi. However, to obtain that Mahayana Buddhist Dharma, it depended on one's fate and choice. Lin Ling waved his right hand and caught the light. Endless Sanskrit chants immediately rose in Lin Ling's mind. Fated one, the three extremes of the universe is the divine ability of the future Buddha, Maitreya Buddha. I will now pass it to you. You possess Patriarch Subhuti's Bodhi testimony divine art. Your soul force has reached 180,000 steps, you can now cultivate. The ancient voice continued to resound. Lin Ling's pupils trembled. Immediately, many laws of the universe appeared in his mind. The three extremes of the universe were divided into demon subduing break, primordial break, and reverse break. It borrowed the power of the 6 Bodhi Buddhas and soul force to attack. It was very similar to Lin Ling's steps of wisdom, but it was a power that surpassed the steps of God. If one had to give an example, it would be a divine ability on the same level as Panga's attack. Moreover, the difference between the steps of wisdom and primordial break was that it attacked the soul force, and it was divided into 3 extremes. Demon subduing break used the law of the soul to pierce through the cosmic rays and slaughter all souls. Primordial break used countless cosmic rays to form a universe, sealing all souls. Reverse break formed a universe of its own, sealing all living beings. These were the three extremes of the universe. Lin Ling sucked in a breath of cold air. After checking, he discovered that he could already use Demon Subduing Break now. To cultivate Demon Subduing Break, one must have 6 Bodhi Buddhas and have a soul force of 150,000 steps. But now, Lin Ling's soul force had reached 180,000 steps. Originally, Lin Ling's soul force was 160,000 steps. However, when he walked the path of Mahayana Buddhism, it had unknowingly increased by 20,000 steps. Future Buddha, Maitreya Buddha. Lin Ling was shocked. According to his knowledge, the 3 strongest Buddhas were the past Buddha, Dipankara Buddha, present Buddha, Tathagata Buddha, future Buddha, and Maitreya Buddha. These 3 were true ancient gods, incomparably powerful. The giant behind the 3 divine gates of White Mountain is said to be a Buddha, and no one dares to provoke White Mountain in the primal chaos realm. This means that this giant behind the scenes could be one of the 3 Buddhas. Lin Ling kept guessing and finally came to an answer. It should be the past Buddha, Dipankara Buddha. White Mountain, Burning Heart, and Lamp Heart. Burning Heart and Lamp Heart had already explained everything. It was the name Dipankara. No wonder no one dared to provoke the 3 divine gates of White Mountain. Too strong. It's not something I can fight against now. I should focus on increasing my strength as soon as possible. Lin Ling shook his head and continued to comprehend. On his body, the Vajra Bodhi light and the 6 Bodhi Buddhas appeared, lingering above his head and blooming with light. Looking around again, he saw rays of soul force forming a curtain of rain that slowly pushed forward. These rays were vertical and looked very dense. There were no fluctuations, as if they had no power. However, they had the power to destroy all souls. As long as one did not have soul protection methods or divine abilities, one would die with a sweep. Most importantly, others could see these vertical lines. As long as they were locked on, it was useless to escape to the ends of the world. It was as if a soul contract had been planted. Chapter 46-76. What a powerful soul attack. Lin Ling was shocked. Unfortunately, he could only use such a powerful attack once in a short period of time. That was because he would have to use up all his soul power. Sealing the soul. As long as the soul doesn't die, there won't be any sense of danger. This means that the protection of the Tao state is useless. Then, Lin Ling smiled faintly, stood up, and looked into the distance. Zen Master Wuchao already knew that I would obtain the 3 extremes of the universe break. I wonder how he found out. Could it be that someone is helping me again? Forget it. Now that I've obtained the Mahayana Dharma and my strength has increased greatly, I can leave the godly Emtashimi. Lin Ling turned and walked into the distance. He saw a gentle white light in front of him, as if it was the way out. When Lin Ling walked out, he was still at the top of the mountain. However, he realized that the Buddha beads on him were gone. I knew it. Zen Master Wuchao wouldn't give such a precious treasure to me. As expected, he took it back after helping me. Lin Ling shook his head helplessly. He looked around and saw that the 9 people were still sitting cross-legged in the distance, looking at him with a surprised expression. Ignoring them, Lin Ling walked down the mountain. Sir, please enlighten me. All of a sudden, a woman looked over and cupped her hands in greeting. And she was Ning Qingxin. Lin Ling looked at her coldly, ignored her, and continued walking. What a cold gaze. Ning Qingxin and the others were shocked, but they didn't dare to underestimate Lin Ling. That was because they had all seen that Lin Ling had obtained the Mahayana Dharma. However, that was what surprised them the most. They guessed that Lin Ling's success must be due to his extremely powerful Buddhist Tao comprehension. Sir, please enlighten me. Ning Qingxin said again. Although she was afraid of Lin Ling's cold gaze, she couldn't suppress the curiosity in her heart. I can sense that you are very afraid of me, but you have an obsession in your heart. You must know the answer. Therefore, even if you are afraid of me, you still want to ask me. Lin Ling stopped and looked at Ning Qingxin coldly. He sensed that this woman possessed mid-stage mid-god strength and was even stronger than him, Lin Ling. But if they were to really fight, Lin Ling had the confidence to kill her. Most importantly, Lin Ling could not detect any killing intent from her body. She must be an ancient deity who cultivated her state of mind and not her strength. That's right, Your Excellency's evil is too strong. We don't usually dare to get close to such people because it will cause karma and cause us to escape into the mortal world. However, Your Excellency has obtained the Mahayana Buddhist Dharma. This has piqued our curiosity, so we would like Your Excellency to give us some pointers. Ning Qingxin said, her face full of stubbornness. These people were like lotus flowers untainted by the dust of the world. Not to mention killing people, even if they got close to gods who had killed too many people, they were afraid of being affected. I can see that you are truly gods who pursue eternity. You are also the most peculiar group of people I have seen in so many years. Lin Ling said lightly. Your Excellency, do you mean that you are really willing to give us pointers? Ning Qingxin suddenly smiled and looked forward to it. Unfortunately, I also want to give you pointers, but it is obvious that I can't. However, Lin Ling shook his head. After rejecting her, he turned and left. He had obtained the Mahayana Buddhist Dharma not because of any enlightenment, but because of Zen Master Wuxiao's Buddhist beads. Therefore, he really couldn't give them any pointers. But everyone thought that Lin Ling didn't want to say. Your Excellency, I can follow you and experience the suffering of the world. Ning Qingxin suddenly said, as if she was going to throw caution to the wind. You better not follow me, because my path is not suitable for you. Lin Ling had already gone down the stairs, leaving behind a sentence that stunned everyone. Because Lin Ling's path was the path of slaughter. It's so cold. All Buddhas have good intentions. If we have the heart to pursue it, a true Buddha will definitely tell us the answer, but this person didn't say a word. I reckon that his understanding of Buddhism is not as good as ours. That's right, that's right. The others spoke up one after another. But how did he obtain the Mahayana Buddhist Dharma? However, Ning Qingxin asked in return. Everyone was speechless. None of them were able to answer this question. Perhaps this is his test, or perhaps this is a difficulty that we have to face if we want to obtain the Mahayana Buddhist Dharma. We have already experienced 9,999 difficulties. This difficulty might be the last one. Suddenly, Ning Qingxin gritted her teeth and said. Ning Qingxin, you can't be. Everyone was shocked and looked at Ning Qingxin in disbelief. Yes. Ning Qingxin nodded heavily. I will continue to pursue him until he agrees. Ning Qingxin, I've learned my lesson. I didn't expect your pursuit of eternity to be so firm. This makes us ashamed. All right, I'll help you. The young man pondered for a moment and nodded. Shu Lin Sword Immortal, you also plan to leave here? The others were in disbelief. Buddha said that everything has a cause and effect. Since we can see him, perhaps this is our cause and effect. The young man looked at the crowd and said. After saying that, they walked down the stairs one after another. After you leave, it will be difficult for you to come back. The people at the top of the mountain couldn't help but advise them. However, Ning Qingxin and Ning Qingxin walked forward resolutely, still believing that Lin Ling could guide them. At this moment, Lin Ling had already reached the foot of the mountain. He saw that Lei Gong was still waiting there. When he saw Lin Ling, he couldn't help but smile excitedly. Lin Ling, you spent 3 years going to the top of the mountain this time. 3 years. Lin Ling was shocked. Why did he feel like it had only been a few hours? However, I can clearly sense your changes from your body. It's very strange. This feeling is as if you have become the void of the universe. Then, Lei Gong looked at Lin Ling and couldn't help but feel happy for Lin Ling. Now, Lin Ling was more like an ancient giant god, with an added sense of eternity. Because I have obtained the Mahayana Dharma. Lin Ling didn't hide anything. Then, he looked around. How is it outside the great Buddha kingdom? Where are the people of Emperor Shun? During this period, I also went to investigate. I can feel that they are still around, but compared to before, there are much fewer people. Perhaps they all think that we really plan to stay here forever. Lei Gong said. That's good. Now that 3 years have passed, it's time to leave. After all, we still have to help Longyang. Lin Ling immediately said. Yes, Shaoluan and Longyang are both hosts of the world's will. Their future achievements will definitely be extraordinary. If you help them now, even if they destroy the world in the future, they will still give you face. Lei Gong nodded. This made Lin Ling have a flash of inspiration. He suddenly thought of cause and effect. Chapter 46-77. Let's go. Lin Ling shook his head. He didn't think too much about it, but he also felt that after cultivating the 3 extreme breaks of the universe, he seemed to have gained a deeper understanding of the universe's Tao. The two walked in the direction of the gate. Along the way, Lin Ling transmitted his voice to Yu and found out that everything was fine there. The Kurishin had also reached the vicinity of the island and moved to a hiding place in the southeast of the island. Emperor Yao actually didn't look for them. He probably thinks that Saint Guy is by my side, so he's been watching me. Lin Ling guessed. Lei Gong beside him had obviously been mistaken for Saint Guy by Emperor Yao. Lin Ling, although 3 years have passed and Emperor Shun and the others have relaxed their vigilance, we still have to be careful because Emperor Shun is very strong and can catch up to us in a short period of time. So, we must rush out of her territory. Lei Gong said to Lin Ling as they arrived at the gate of the great Buddha kingdom. Emperor Shun's abyss demon eye is very powerful. If we want to escape from her sight, we have to use some dangerous places. Lei Gong, you're more familiar with the Tao realm than I am. Do you know any dangerous places nearby? Well, I remember now. It's about a day's journey from here. There's a place called the Fallen Gods. Those fallen gods are meteorites from ancient times. Even superior gods don't dare to go there. We can use that place to avoid Emperor Shun's abyss demon eye. Okay, let's go there. The two came to an agreement, then walked out of the gate of the great Buddha kingdom and ran in a certain direction. They went all out and moved extremely fast. It was as if they were teleporting. At first, no one paid attention to Lin Ling and the others. But soon, a god noticed it. Lei Gong, Lin Ling and that mysterious person have come out. Chase. With the ancestral shaman of wind in the lead, the mid-level deities all rushed in Lin Ling's direction. In the beginning, they didn't dare to get too close and allowed Lin Ling and the others to leave. Because they were afraid that if they chased too close, Lin Ling and the rest would flee back to the great Buddha kingdom. This would be beating the grass to scare the snake. He could only wait until Lin Ling and the others were far away from the great Buddha kingdom. At that time, Lin Ling and the others would not be able to escape even if they grew wings. They aren't very close. Unfortunately, Lin Ling sensed their intentions. He said to Lei Gong, let's not increase our speed for the time being. Once we're a certain distance away from the great Buddha kingdom, we'll instantly burst forth with speed. There's a chance we can shake them off. All right. The two of them slowed down and moved forward slowly. Behind them, the Witch of the Wind and the others frowned. They didn't want to scare away Lin Ling and the others, so they also slowed down. In the end, they even stopped chasing for the time being. As long as Lin Ling and the others were under their control, that was enough. Lei Gong, Lin Ling, they're out. At this time, a large number of experts arrived. It was the giant god White Tiger, goddess Tian-Si, and the others. They're out. They're in the distance, just at the limit of our control. We didn't follow too close for fear that they'll discover us. The Witch of the Wind said immediately. That's good. The giant god White Tiger knew the Witch of the Wind and the others' concerns. Oh no, we've been tricked. Suddenly, goddess Tian-Si seemed to have guessed something. They might have already discovered us. This is intentional. They slowed down to make us lower our guard, then suddenly burst forth with speed. We won't be able to react in time and will immediately lose them. Damn it. The Witch of the Wind and the others' expressions changed. They immediately used their special abilities to check on Lin Ling and the others. Sure enough, Lin Ling and the others had all disappeared. Previously, Lin Ling was at the limit of their control. This place was the point where they could just detect Lin Ling and the others' tracks, but could lose them at any time. Of course, they were very confident that as long as Lin Ling did not discover them, they could continue to secretly follow him. But who knew that Lin Ling had already discovered them? Chase! Goddess Tian-Si cursed angrily and immediately shot forward. Emperor Shun, Lin Ling has come out. Did you notice him? They had no choice but to ask for help from Emperor Shun. Lin Ling has finally come out. A voice suddenly sounded in everyone's hearts. It was very deep, like the low voice of a demon. Southwest. Then, another voice sounded, pointing them in the right direction. Fortunately, Emperor Shun is here. Everyone was relieved and hurriedly chased toward the southwest. At this moment, in the southwest direction, Lin Ling and Lei Gong were both exploding with speed, passing through endless barren mountains. I think they should have noticed us by now. Lei Gong, it's up to you to open the void passage. Lin Ling said to Lei Gong. Lei Gong nodded and immediately activated his special ability, forming a huge vortex. During this process, Lin Ling also noticed that in the distant horizon, a large number of gods had caught up. As expected of Emperor Shun, he can still discover us even though we have fled so far. Lin Ling secretly sighed. If not for the natural danger zone that Lei Gong had mentioned, they would not have been able to escape from Emperor Shun's pursuit. The people chasing us are probably still the giant White Tiger god and the others. What a pity, if Emperor Shun was not here, I would really want to kill them. Lin Ling said again. Now that he had the universe's three extremes break, he was confident that he could kill some mid-stage mid-gods. Alright, Lin Ling, come in quickly. At this moment, Lei Gong's voice sounded. Lin Ling looked into the distance. His powerful soul power could sense that the giant White Tiger god and the others were chasing aggressively and were getting closer and closer. Sorry, I have to go now. After saying this with his soul power, Lin Ling entered the void passage. Bastard, that guy has indeed discovered us. Hurry up, Emperor Shun is now rushing over. No matter what, we have to stop Lin Ling and the others here. Moreover, Emperor Shun said that the direction that Lin Ling and the others escaped is a natural danger zone. It is a place that even Emperor Shun does not control. If they enter, Lei Gong, Lin Ling and the others will completely disappear. Emperor Yao is also rushing over. Everyone, you must stop them. All the gods shouted angrily. Looking at Lin Ling and the others, they had already appeared on the other side of Lei Gong's void passage and were running madly again. When Lei Gong's method of opening the void passage was restored, they would enter the void passage again. In this way, they were even closer to the natural danger zone. However, the pursuers behind them were also getting closer to Lin Ling and the others. Moreover, Emperor Shun had arrived. A huge abyss appeared in the sky, causing the entire sky to darken. A demonic eye bloomed with supreme power, passing through time and space to suppress Lin Ling and the others. This supreme power was a demonic green light that seemed to be able to affect Lin Ling and the others. Get lost. However, Lin Ling walked the path of Mahayana Buddhism and was protected by Buddhist light. He shouted at the green light and blew it away. Not bad. Chapter 46-78. After another chase, Lin Ling and the others finally arrived at the land of the fallen gods. We're finally here. Staring ahead, Lei Gong smiled. Looking up, it was pitch black as if they had arrived at the void of the universe. Lin Ling and Lei Gong stood at the edge of the void as if they were standing on the edge of a cliff. Rumble. In the distance, a huge meteorite was like the fist of a giant god, shooting into the distance and colliding with another meteorite. The explosion was earth-shattering. The collision of stars in the myriad realms. Lin Ling sucked in a breath of cold air. Those meteorites were so huge that they were more terrifying than any realm. They could be called a world of their own. Now, countless worlds were colliding. No wonder this place was so dangerous. Rumble. In the distant void, rumbles resounded incessantly, causing waves of ripples. The void continued to split open, and a storm swept out. If a lesser god was here, he would definitely be sucked into the void and perish forever. Even a mid-level god would have to act cautiously here. I heard that in addition to the collision of meteorites, there are also evil gods. They cultivate here and absorb everything. Lei Gong explained. Lin Ling nodded and looked back. He was surprised to find that in the distant horizon, other than Emperor Shun and the others, there were two strangers. The reason why he said they were strangers was because Lin Ling had met them once before, but he wasn't familiar with them. These two were Ning Qingxin and Lin Ling, whom he had met on the path of Mahayana Buddhism. Why are they chasing us? Are they looking for me? Lin Ling frowned, somewhat speechless. He guessed that the two of them were here to ask him for guidance. However, Lin Ling didn't need any guidance. He relied on the Buddha beads to obtain Mahayana Buddhism. Of course, Lin Ling wasn't too sure. Therefore, Lin Ling and Lei Gong ignored them and entered the land of the fallen gods. Rumble. As soon as they entered, a huge meteorite flew towards them at a very fast speed. When they got closer, they could see that the size of the meteorite was enough to cover the sky. The astral winds howled, as if one of the 9 prefectures had come crashing down. Break! Lin Ling let out a low roar. The third stage of the innate skill fusion was unleashed with an unparalleled punch. Boom! The meteors that were falling from above were smashed apart with a single punch, and a storm swept out in all directions. You bastard! Lei Gong had wanted to make a move, but when he saw Lin Ling blow it up so easily, he sucked in a breath of cold air. Lin Ling's body was simply too tyrannical. It was even more terrifying than the ancient beasts. Go! Lin Ling didn't say much. He flew forward with Lei Gong. Along the way, they encountered god-perishing stones. Lin Ling also kept punching. Rumble. Those meteorites were constantly being smashed by Lin Ling, and they were everywhere. Of course, these meteorites were actually the smallest. The exaggerated ones were 100 times bigger. In such a situation, even Lin Ling had to avoid them. He guessed that these meteorites came from the broken god world, or perhaps from the broken ancient era. In the ancient era, these meteorites were actually planes. Before long, Emperor Shun and the others arrived at the land of the fallen gods. However, when they looked around, they found that Lin Ling and the others had completely disappeared. My demon eye can't detect him here. Emperor Shun stood on the cliff and looked into the distance. Her beautiful face once again turned into the face of a fox. She was furious. Incomparably furious. So many gods had been mobilized, and even she had gone out personally. However, they still couldn't catch Lin Ling. Damn it! Emperor Shun, they probably can't have gone far. Why don't we try our luck? All the gods suggested. How could they be willing to let Lin Ling leave? One had to know that under the celestial mountain, they had suffered countless deaths and injuries. All right. Emperor Shun was also unwilling to give up. He turned into a huge abyss and flew toward the land of the fallen gods. All the gods also spread out and chased after him in twos and threes. Rumble. However, before long, a huge meteorite smashed down and several mid-level gods were immediately smashed into pieces. They died without even making a sound. We must find Lei Gong Lin Ling. Emperor Shun looked around and ignored them. However, he was even more furious. Not long after they disappeared, two figures also appeared in the land of the fallen gods and looked into the distance. That man has entered the land of the fallen gods. Ning Qingxin, are we still going to chase after him? Shu Lin's sword immortal looked at Ning Qingxin and asked. Ning Qingxin gritted her teeth and nodded. If we want to get guidance, we have to be honest with him. But I heard that the land of the fallen gods is very dangerous. There are many variables. The Shu Lin sword immortal said with a frown. However, seeing that Ning Qingxin was still stubborn, he could only go along with her. However, he was suspicious of the mysterious man. This was because he also saw that the mysterious man seemed to be chased by many people, including Emperor Shun. Rumble. At this moment, Lin Ling and Lei Gong were traveling through the fallen gods at high speed. Lin Ling used the third stage talent fusion. He did not use any magical powers. He destroyed everything with his iron fists. Lei Gong, on the other hand, had green lightning in his hands. He threw out a net of electricity and destroyed all the nearby rocks. There are too many of them. These fallen gods seem to be attracted here. There's no end to them. Lei Gong said with a frown as he looked into the distance. Indeed, but we'd better speed up. I think that Emperor Shun and the others have already entered this place. We have to go further to avoid their pursuit. Lin Ling nodded. Because of the continuous meteorites, their speed was slowed down. Master Lei Gong, follow me. Then, Lin Ling let out a low roar and used the earth-splitting technique. The bronze light appeared, making Lin Ling look like a giant in the sky. He took a big step and shot into the distance. Behind him, the thunder god hurriedly followed and sucked in a breath of cold air. In fact, he was stronger than Lin Ling. However, Lin Ling had many tricks up his sleeve. For example, he had never seen such a trick before. Because he was too invincible. Rumble. There was an ancient meteorite falling. Lin Ling did not slow down. He did not use any attack. He just crashed into it with his physical body. Rumble. With a loud boom, the meteorite that was as huge as a star was shattered. Just like that, Lin Ling opened a path in front, and Lei Gong followed behind. The two of them sped up greatly and disappeared into the distance. After Lin Ling and the others, Emperor Shun and the others were unlucky. Many gods were smashed to death by the divine meteorites, and their souls scattered. Emperor Shun and the others were stronger. The meteorites could not affect them at all. However, they were not going in the same direction as Lin Ling, so no matter how fast they were, they could not catch up to Lin Ling and the others. Damn it, this place is a mess. After Lei Gong Lin Ling entered, it was as if he was swimming in the sea. Emperor Shun turned into the abyss demonic eye and searched everywhere. However, he could not find anything. At this time, cracks appeared in the void in front of them, and spider webs spread out. Careful. Chapter 46-79. It's a god that cultivates with the help of the fallen gods. Emperor Shun frowned. The faces of the ancient great gods behind him changed. They had heard of gods who used the fallen gods to cultivate. They had heard that these mysterious gods had powerful methods. They could draw upon the power of the fallen gods to cast down a divine net. When the weak encountered the divine net, they would be instantly suppressed and their essence, energy, and soul would be continuously absorbed. Most importantly, those who came into contact with the divine net would be affected by the illusion and unable to extricate themselves. Ah, not good. These tentacles are coming. Suddenly, someone shouted. Someone roared. Next, he was touched by the spider web. His whole body twitched as he entered an illusion. These tentacles are poisonous. They will be released when they come into contact with living beings. Then, a large number of needle-sized tentacles will pierce into the god's body and absorb their essence until the god turns into a dried corpse. Emperor Shun said indifferently, however, this kind of evil god dares to show off in front of me? Die! The abyss behind her cracked open, and a gust of wind blew out. Green flames spewed out. Crackle, crackle. The entire huge spider web burned, and a series of screeching sounds were heard. Then, in the distance, a figure fled quickly. Trying to escape. Emperor Shun shouted again. A huge demon eye appeared above the figure's head. With a flash of light, a scream was heard, and the mysterious figure was turned into dust. Find them. If Lin Ling and the others encounter these evil spider gods, they will definitely be stopped. This is our chance. Ignoring the dead evil god, Emperor Shun shot into the distance. In another direction, Lin Ling and the others also encountered the evil spider gods. They all stopped and did not dare to approach. These are the legendary evil gods. Lei Gong had heard of the evil gods in the fallen god's void, but this was the first time he had seen them. Lin Ling looked in the direction of the endless cobwebs and saw a figure hanging in the center of it. However, at this time, the spider web began to spread like tentacles. Sky-splitting slash. Lin Ling didn't know what this thing was, so he didn't dare to be careless. After all, he also saw that there were many creatures hanging in the spider web. At this moment, they were all motionless. It was very strange. Rumble. The palm struck down as if it was splitting the heavens and splitting the earth. It was as if a giant had appeared in the void. It was Pangu. Swoosh. The entire huge spider web was cut apart, and green blood gushed out. Fortunately, it can be killed. Lin Ling heaved a sigh of relief and continued forward with Lei Gong. However, many spider evil gods appeared in front of them again. They were hiding in the void and waiting for their prey to come closer. However, this time, Lin Ling and Lei Gong joined forces and finally dealt with one of them. Gradually, the two of them got closer and closer to the border. After a long time had passed, a cliff appeared in the distance. One could see the great earth on the other side. We're finally out. Lei Gong and Lin Ling were delighted. Rushing out of the fallen god's land meant that they had escaped Emperor Shun's control. The two of them increased their speed and finally reached the cliff. Looking around, the land in front of them was still endless barren mountains. Ancient volcanoes were constantly erupting, smashing into the ground and burning continuously. The barren mountains here are even more ancient. Those volcanoes are so huge. Lin Ling shook his head and said. Compared to the volcanoes, they were like two clouds of dust spewing out from the volcanoes. Boom, boom, boom. The lava spewing out from the volcanoes smashed into the distance. It was as huge as a star, and there were divine flames burning in it. To powerful gods, these flames were great treasures, but to weak gods, these flames were a disaster. If they accidentally touched them, it was even possible for them to be burned to death. Let's find a place to recover. After that, Lin Ling and Lei Gong found a quiet place to cultivate. During this process, some gods also passed by and saw Lin Ling and Lei Gong. Fortunately, they were not Emperor Shun's subordinates, so they only glanced at Lin Ling and Lei Gong. Moreover, they sensed that Lin Ling and Lei Gong were not to be trifled with, so they did not dare to casually approach. There are countless experts in the Dao realm. With my current strength, I can barely walk in the Dao realm. It would be great if I could raise my realm or open my 8th dantian. Lin Ling thought to himself as he cultivated. Now, he felt that he did not have enough Dao realm fragments. It seemed that he had to ask old Sangui for a solution. Thinking of this, Lin Ling entered the square prison. Ha ha ha, awesome. In the prison, old Sangui revealed his yellow front teeth and laughed excitedly. Obviously, the 3-day holiday had made him so happy that he forgot about home. I haven't touched those for many years. The nuns are not bad. He crossed his legs and drank happily from a pot of wine that he had gotten from somewhere. Are you satisfied? Suddenly, a cold voice was heard. Clang! The wine pot in old Sangui's hand slipped and fell to the ground. He looked up and saw a cold young man standing in front of the prison cell. F***ck, this fiend. Old Sangui was considered a big shot in ancient times. He was carefree and unrestrained all his life and was not afraid of anyone. However, ever since he entered the prison, he was most afraid of this prison warden. Sir, what can I do for you? Old Sangui did not dare to slight Lin Ling at all and smiled obsequiously. I want to ask you, I'm currently on the other side of the God's Fall Void. How can I get more Dao realm fragments? Lin Ling went straight to the point. God's Fall Void? There are many places like that in the Dao realm. By the way, you went to the Great Buddha Nation last time. This means that you're in the God's Fall Void near the Great Buddha Nation. However, there doesn't seem to be anything around here. If you want to get Dao realm fragments, you can only get the Heavenly Prison token. You can get Dao realm fragments if the Heavenly Realm wants you to kill the gods. Old Sangui said. Heavenly Prison token. The Heavenly Realm wants you to kill the gods. Lin Ling frowned. Yes, this is something that all the gods knew. Could it be that the Dao realm has changed after so many years? Old Sangui also frowned. Let me see. Lin Ling took out the Heavenly Realm Dao realm fragment and began to check it. Only then did he realize that the Heavenly Prison token was actually a wanted poster. As long as one killed the gods wanted by the Dao realm, they would be rewarded. Moreover, the reward would be more or less depending on the situation. To put it bluntly, being wanted by the Dao realm meant that one had done something that went against the laws of heaven and was not tolerated by the Dao realm. In other words, it was a violation of the universal laws of the Dao realm. These Heavenly Prison tokens were also very strange. For example, they could kill some prehistoric giant beasts, destroy some secret realms, and even kill gods. Even if one killed the gods and caused them to waste a Dao realm protection, they would still be rewarded. If one killed the gods completely, the reward would be even greater. Chapter 4680. However, the Dao Regression Heavenly Immortal did not say what conditions one would meet to be wanted. Of course, Lin Ling guessed that it was related to good and evil. If the evil was several times more than the good, one would be wanted in the heavy prison. Although I've killed many people in my life, I haven't killed many in the Dao realm. Lin Ling shook his head and did not think too much about it. Instead, he looked for the heavy prison warrant that he could accept. However, many of them were too far away and Lin Ling had never heard of them. Lin Ling had no choice but to exit the Dao Regression Heavenly Immortal and ask Old Devil. No. That's troublesome. After all, I entered the Dao realm a long time ago. Now that the heavy prison warrant has changed, it's normal. Oh right, what's around here? Old Devil revealed his yellow teeth and pondered. What's around here? It's a huge volcano. In front of the volcano is the God's Fall Void. However, there are many strange spider evil gods. Lin Ling said. Spider evil gods. I didn't expect them to appear again. Old Devil's eyes suddenly lit up. This is the unique environment of God Fall to cultivate the 7 breaks 7 extremes godly net. It's a vicious method of using the poisonous net to refine the gods. Back then, when the 7-break-7 extremes godly net divine ability was spread out, many ancient gods used this method to increase their strength. Although the speed is fast, the side effects are great. Later on, because too many gods died, the gods who cultivated the 7-break-7 extinction god net all became heavy prison medallions and were killed by the other gods. Who would have thought that after so many years, they would appear again? But it's strange that they appeared again. Why didn't anyone kill them? This is a good reward. Hearing this, Lin Ling was also shocked. He guessed, could it be that so many years have passed that people have forgotten? I reckon that's the case. Back then, this spider evil god was famous for a period of time before vanishing without a trace. Now that it has reappeared, the deities naturally wouldn't remember it. In fact, if not for Sir's reminder, I might not have remembered it either. Old Third Devil nodded. Lin Ling hurriedly took out the Tao Regression Heavenly Tablet and began to investigate. There were countless heavy prison badges in the Heavenly Tao Tablet, but Lin Ling was patient enough to find one in an inconspicuous corner of the tablet. The reward for killing one spider evil god was 1,000 Tao realm fragments. TSK, in the God Meteor Void, there are many spider evil gods. Even Lei Gong and I killed many of them along the way. What a waste! Lin Ling sucked in a breath of cold air. He was a little excited. By the way, sir, you must obtain a thread from the evil spider god. Only then can you exchange it for a Tao realm fragment. That thread is the 7-break-7 extinction divine net. Furthermore, this thread will disappear very quickly. It must be nourished with divine essence within the time it takes 3 incense sticks to burn. Old Devil reminded. All right. Lin Ling nodded and left the prison. At the same time, he said, help me again next time, and I'll give you another 3 days off. Hee hee, that's great. Old Devil revealed his yellow teeth and couldn't stop laughing. He still couldn't forget the taste of being a nun. After leaving the square prison, Lin Ling immediately found Lei Gong and told him the news. No way, that ugly evil god can be exchanged for 1,000 Tao realm fragments. Are you kidding me? Lei Gong couldn't believe it. Don't worry, there will definitely be some. Lin Ling smiled and nodded. The more he thought about it, the more excited he became. If he killed dozens of spider evil gods, wouldn't he have tens of thousands of Tao realm fragments? In the entire Tao realm, the person who had obtained the most Tao realm fragments was none other than Lin Ling. If that's the case, we're going to be rich. Lin Ling, let's return to the God's Fall Void immediately. Let's wait a little longer. I think Emperor Shun's people are still looking for us in the God's Fall Void. Let's wait for 2 or 3 days until most of them have left before we go. The most important thing is Emperor Shun. She won't have the time to keep looking for us. As long as she's gone, the remaining gods won't be a problem. All right. The 2 of them cultivated under the volcano. After 3 days, they immediately rushed to the God's Fall Void. Lin Ling glanced at the huge volcano behind him. He suddenly lifted a fiery rock the size of an island and majestically charged into the God's Fall Void. Not long after they entered, they encountered a spider evil god. It was quietly floating in the void without moving. The surrounding meteorites were constantly shooting over, but it didn't seem to be attracted by the spider evil god. On the other hand, Lin Ling and the others encountered several waves of meteorites, but they were all destroyed by them. This spider evil god is indeed a special product of the God's Fall Void. It's actually not affected by the meteorites. Lin Ling nodded secretly. He looked at Lei Gong. Then, the 2 of them unleashed their full strength and joined forces to kill the spider evil god. The spider evil god was like a spider hiding in the void, waiting for its prey to come to it. However, Lin Ling and the others had come specially, so they were already prepared. Moreover, Lei Gong was powerful. Although Lin Ling was an early-stage mid-god, his strength wasn't weak at all. The two of them joined forces and exhausted half of their strength before finally killing the spider evil god. Boom! Boom! Lin Ling carried the huge volcanic rock and violently smashed it. One had to admit that the flames seemed to be able to restrain the spider god's webs. It was much more convenient. A red thread floated out and dissipated with the wind. However, Lin Ling caught it and nourished it with his divine energy, not letting it disappear. 1,000 Dao realm fragments. Continue. The two of them looked at each other, their eyes filled with excitement. When others passed through the God's Fall void, which one of them wasn't careful? Only the two of them were the most excited. Boom! 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 After a long time, on the other side, another spider evil god was killed. While they were killing the spider evil god, in another direction, a woman was completely entangled by the spider evil god's web. She couldn't move at all. Moreover, her vitality was continuously disappearing, and her face was constantly aging. Ning Qingxin. In the distance, a man shouted anxiously. He was the Shu Forest Sword Immortal. So scary. We almost fell into their trap. Let's go quickly. There are too many strange evil gods here. If I didn't trick that woman to go test them, we would have been surrounded. Even further away, a dozen or so gods were standing there, their brows all furrowed. I don't know where those two came from. Their cultivation realm is very high, but their strength is very weak. A woman said coldly. She was Goddess Tian-Si. They said they were looking for a cold-blooded man. Goddess Tian-Si lied to them and told them she was heading in this direction. They really did leave. Luckily, they were there to test the waters. Otherwise, if those evil gods appeared, we would have been surrounded, a god said coldly. Humph, it's their fortune to be able to test the waters for us. Chapter 4681. Without special means, any intermediate god would not be able to react in time and would eventually be entangled by the divine webs and die. Because at the very beginning, there was not a single evil god here. They appeared out of nowhere. And these evil gods were lured out by Ning Qingxin. Of course, she was also tricked into entering. This also caused Goddess Tian-Si and the others to react and not rush over recklessly. Goddess Tian-Si, one of them escaped. At this moment, a god beside Goddess Tian-Si said coldly. He actually escaped to the other side. But don't bother about him. If he dares to say something stupid, we'll kill him next time. Goddess Tian-Si said calmly. She did not care about the person who escaped. At this moment, on the other side of the endless divine webs, a man gritted his teeth and shouted from time to time, Ning Qingxin. He was the Shu Lin Sword Immortal. Previously, he and Ning Qingxin had been searching for the cold-looking man. However, they met this group of people. They knew that this group of people was chasing after the cold-looking man, so they asked casually to see if they could find the man's whereabouts. In the end, a woman in the group pointed in a direction, which led them to move in that direction. They only realized that they were tricked when countless divine webs appeared. What angered the Shu Lin Sword Immortal the most was that this group of people tricked him and Ning Qingxin as if it was natural. Go find him. We must ask him for guidance. At this moment, a weak voice came from the endless divine webs. It was Ning Qingxin. Ning Qingxin, why are you doing this? The Shu Lin Sword Immortal let out a long sigh. He did not expect Ning Qingxin to be so determined in her pursuit of Buddhism. He knew that he was not as good as her in this aspect. No wonder the 1,000-year-old old man said that Ning Qingxin's understanding of Buddhism and the eternal great Tao surpassed all of them last time on the top of the Mahayana road of Buddhism. That woman seems to be a god who has comprehended Buddhism. Even Goddess Tian-Si noticed that something was wrong with Ning Qingxin. In this world, the strong preyed on the weak. However, there were 3,000 Taos, which were as vast as the sea. Some walked the Tao of killing, some walked the Tao of righteousness, and naturally, some chose the Tao of Buddhism. If that's the case, it's her blessing to die for us. Goddess Tian-Si smiled and said, Buddha said, if I don't go to hell, who will? Since you can die for us, perhaps you can find the ultimate source of Buddhism soon. Damn it! Hearing Goddess Tian-Si's words, the Shu Lin Sword Immortal could not help but curse. Shu Forest Sword Immortal, you've been studying Buddhism all your life. Don't let yourself become immortal at the most critical moment. However, at this moment, Ning Qingxin raised her pale face and looked at the Shu Forest Sword Immortal path. It was obvious that she did not hate Goddess Tian-Si and the others. Because this was her Tao, and it was the pursuit of her entire life. Go, find him, she said weakly. She was to look to her. She then looked at her body. Spiderwebs with thorns had pierced into her body and were constantly absorbing her essence, energy, and spirit. They were even absorbing her life's worth of comprehension. This was the terror of the evil spider god. It could turn any power into its own. Ning Qingxin. The Shu Lin Sword Immortal gritted his teeth. He still wanted to save Ning Qingxin. Go, let go of your obsession. Everything is meaningless. Only eternity is the Tao. Ning Qingxin was as old as an old woman. She had lost her past elegance, but she still did not give up. She forgot her original intention. Okay. The Shu Lin Sword Immortal gritted his teeth and left. In fact, he knew that Ning Qingxin would definitely die if he left. Moreover, he did not have the confidence to find that man. After all, the Tao realm was so vast. That man might have already gone somewhere else. However, he only wanted one word. This was Ning Qingxin's biggest obsession before she died. He had to complete it for Ning Qingxin no matter what. If he could not do it in this life, he would do it in the next life. So ugly. Why do you think there are such stupid people in this vast universe? She must have damaged her brain from practicing Buddhism. In my opinion, it's better for this kind of idiot to die early. That's right. In this day and age, who would still practice heart cultivation? Strength is everything. The gods have long pursued strength. Maybe it's because there were too many gods who practiced heart cultivation in the past that caused the calamity of the world will. No god could stop the world will. Watching the Shu Lin Sword Immortal leave, Goddess Tian-Si and the others laughed sarcastically. They had never taken Ning Qingxin and the other two seriously, because these kinds of gods had always been the weakest among them. That despicable Lei Gong Lin Ling. I think he has already left the God Fall Void and went to the other side. That place is not Emperor Shun's territory. Finding him is like finding a needle in a haystack. A god looked at Goddess Tian-Si and said. He chose this path on purpose. However, Emperor Yao has said that we must find Lei Gong Lin Ling and Xingyi no matter what. They have chaos divine artifacts. We must get them. Goddess Tian-Si gritted her teeth. Her face was full of ferocity. Since Lin Ling is gone, why don't we see how long that woman can last? I think she will turn into a dried corpse in the end. Those evil gods with poison webs are so strange. I have never seen them before. I wonder if they are humans or demons. Let's just watch. They did not leave. Instead, they watched everything in front of them with schadenfreude. Among the endless spider webs, strands of silver hair fell. They were Ning Qingxin's hair. She looked even older now, like a century-old woman. On the other side, the Shu Lin Sword Immortal was flying into the distance. His eyes were red. At this moment, he suddenly doubted his own Tao. Because, at the most critical moment, the eternity he pursued did not allow him to help at all. He had the cultivation realm, but he did not have the strength to match it. All these years of studying Buddhism, he did not have the time to cultivate his various skills. Was it all worth it? Rumble. At this moment, a rumbling sound came from afar. Two powerful gods were attacking a spider evil god. A moment later, the spider evil god was blasted into pieces. It's him. The Shu Lin sword immortal looked around and suddenly sucked in a cold breath. He stared at the cold-looking man. He did not expect to meet that man again. One had to know that he did not have any hope. He did not know that if Lin Ling did not want to get the Tao realm fragment, he would not have any hope of meeting Lin Ling again in this life. Senior. He rushed over, came in front of Lin Ling, and bowed slightly. It's you. Lin Ling frowned. He was also a little surprised. Please enlighten me. The Shu Lin sword immortal hurriedly asked. He wanted to help Ning Qingxin resolve her last obsession. I said that I can't guide you. You can leave now. Chapter 4682. Sai, in fact, I was able to obtain the Mahayana Buddhism not because of how powerful my understanding of Buddhism is, but because an old friend lent me a Buddhist bead. With the protection of the Buddhist bead, I obtained the Mahayana Buddhism. Lin Ling had no choice but to tell the truth. What? What? This sentence was like a bolt from the blue, and the Shu Lin sword immortal's face instantly turned pale. They had given up the Mahayana Buddhism of the godly Amtishumi and had pursued Lin Ling all the way. Ning Qingxin had even sacrificed her life, but in the end, they had obtained this answer. Everything was empty. No, no, you lied to me. Lie. The Shu Lin sword immortal kept shaking his head as if he had lost his life goal. His essence, qi, and spirit were also drained at this moment. These gods who cultivated the state of mind were actually similar to Lin Ling and the rest. The difference was that one pursued the state of mind while the other pursued strength. Their goal was the same, for eternity. However, gods like Lin Ling who pursued strength had another goal, which was to stand at the peak of the universe and pursue the ultimate meaning of martial arts. Now, Lin Ling's answer seemed to tell the Shu Lin sword immortal that the path they had taken was wrong and there was no end in this life. It was also like killing their future. No wonder the Shu Lin sword immortal lost his composure. This person is too stubborn. Lei Gong frowned and said. He could sense the Shu Lin sword immortal's emotions. Lin Ling shook his head and said, perhaps they have always been pursuing an obsession, but after the clouds and mist dispersed, they discovered that everything was ultimately fleeting clouds. Thus, they suffered a huge blow. He felt that these gods were too stubborn, completely forgetting that everything was as they wished. What about the woman who was with you? Then, Lin Ling asked again. He remembered that the woman was even more stubborn than this man. Now that she did not appear, could it be that she had given up? She is dead. The Shu Lin sword immortal sighed. What happened? Lin Ling frowned. Although he had met the woman by chance, when he thought of the woman who had fearlessly entered the God-perishing void for an answer, he was still a little moved. She died in the hands of those evil gods. The Shu Forest sword immortal's face darkened as he recounted what had happened. This guy. As Lin Ling listened, his expression became even colder. He didn't know if he should say that the girl was stupid or that her willpower was astonishing. He was about to die, yet he was still thinking about that answer. He was like a moth flying into a flame. Even though he knew he was going to die, he still didn't forget to pursue his heart. Take me there. Lin Ling shouted angrily. It's too late, too late. However, the Shu Forest sword immortal kept shaking his head. He had personally witnessed the terror of the spider evil gods. Most importantly, there were too many of them. How could he make it in time? Even if he could make it in time, he wouldn't be able to save her. Cut the crap and take me there immediately. Lin Ling shouted angrily again, his voice even colder. What's the point of you going there? Not only is the evil spider god there are also many people who were chasing after you. If they see you, you will be in even more trouble. The Shu Lin Sword Immortal still shook his head. In his opinion, Lin Ling had to avoid those experts because he was not as strong as them. So, what was the point of going back? If you say another word, you will die. Lin Ling saw that this person's face was dispirited. He suddenly grabbed the Shu Lin Sword Immortal's neck and lifted him up. The Shu Lin Sword Immortal and Lin Ling's eyes met. It was as if he saw a rolling sea of blood, causing his entire body to tremble. Although he was a mid-stage middle deity, when it came to killing people and combat strength, he was far inferior to Lin Ling. One look was enough to make the Shu Lin Sword Immortal tremble in fear. Go, go, go. The Shu Lin Sword Immortal's legs went weak as he hurriedly said. Let's go. If we are a moment later, that woman will really die. Lin Ling did not waste any time. He carried the Shu Lin Sword Immortal and shot into the distance. In his other hand, he was still holding the huge volcanic rock. From afar, it was as if he was holding a big world. Although Lin Ling was decisive in killing, he was not cold-blooded and heartless. That woman was pursuing her own path. That alone was worthy of Lin Ling's help. Your Excellency, other than the evil god, there are many powerful gods. Many of them are mid-stage middle deities. Being carried by Lin Ling, the Shu Lin Sword Immortal also said. Humph, a mere mid-stage middle deity. What can you do? Lin Ling snorted coldly, his voice filled with disdain. Although he was now an early-stage lower deity, after endless hard work, his foundation was deep and his strength had greatly increased. Especially with the three ultimate universe break behind him, he had the power to destroy the heavens. Boom! Although Lin Ling only said one sentence, when it fell into the Shu Lin Sword Immortal's ears, it was like a bolt from the blue, causing his mind to buzz. At that moment, he seemed to believe it. However, after calming down, he secretly shook his head. He knew that the cold-looking man was only an early-stage middle deity. In addition, he had lied to them once before. Therefore, he did not believe Lin Ling's words. Previously, Lin Ling was also mysterious, causing them to think that the Dharma was boundless. However, in the end, he had only obtained the Mahayana Dharma through treasures. With Lin Ling's current strength, I'm afraid that there are few mid-stage middle deities who can match him. Among early-stage middle deities, he is definitely the strongest. Therefore, unless Emperor Shun is here, no one can stop him. Lei Gong, who was behind him, smiled. During this period of time, he had hunted the evil spider gods with Lin Ling naturally, he was aware of Lin Ling's strength. The wind howled and the void trembled. Three figures shot forward with unparalleled speed. At that moment, on the other side of the Godfall void, a large number of meteorites were shooting down. Boom! Boom! However, Goddess Tian Si and the others exploded. They were still standing in the same place, looking at the evil spider gods calmly. They were curious as to why the evil spider gods did not attract the attention of the Godfall void. What a strange evil deity. However, I can sense that their auras are constantly increasing. I suspect that when they are cultivating, they are completely unaware of what is happening in the outside world. They are only relying on their instincts to cultivate. That woman from before is getting weaker and weaker. It won't be long before she becomes a dried corpse. I'm curious to see how much their strength has increased after absorbing that woman's energy. These gods were staring ahead curiously. In their hearts, they had the idea of transforming into the evil spider gods because this way of cultivation was too fast. It would probably take about 2 hours to absorb a mid-stage middle deity. Goddess Tian Si was also doing the same thing. They are like spiders waiting for their prey. However, what I am most curious about is why they are not attacked by the Godfall void. Could it be that there is some kind of law involved? An old man said again. With such a large spider web in front of them, not a single meteorite had landed there. This was too strange. Wait, look. Suddenly, someone exclaimed. In the dazzling void, a flaming meteorite was shooting down rapidly. The rolling flames were incomparably dazzling. Chapter 4683. And there's someone. Suddenly, Goddess Tian-Si shouted. Everyone saw that there was someone under the meteorite. The most terrifying thing was that the huge meteorite was being carried by someone. Carried by a meteorite? This scene was too shocking. Boom! The huge meteorite smashed into the endless spider webs, forcibly opening a path. 3 figures followed behind the huge meteorite and broke through all obstacles. It seems like these spider webs are afraid of fire. Everyone on Goddess Tian-Si's side realized something. At this moment, Lin Ling was leading Lei Gong forward. Not only were they borrowing the power of the meteorite, they were also attacking continuously to break the spider webs. However, these spider webs were also extremely powerful. They were as stiff as knives and kept cutting the volcanic meteorites. The volcanic meteorites kept shrinking and finally turned into 2-meter-thick rocks that were entangled by the spider webs. This also meant that Lin Ling and the other 2 had to rely on themselves. Lin Ling stared ahead and saw that the spider god's web was even bigger here. There were actually more than a dozen spider evil gods, and there were many saint spirits hanging in the spider god's web. There were humans and monsters, some of them were moaning, and some of them had already turned into dried corpses. Over there. The Shu Lin sword immortal suddenly pointed. In the direction he pointed, an old woman was entangled in the spider webs. Her body was lifeless and she was probably not far from death. With just a glance, Lin Ling's eyes narrowed. Was that the quick-witted woman he saw at the top of the Mahayana Buddhist road? At that time, the woman was elegant and had an aura that made people want to get close to her. She was very amiable. However, the woman now had long hair and a face full of wrinkles, making people feel sad just by looking at her. Most importantly, this woman ended up like this because she wanted to pursue the great Tao. It's so far away. How can we get there? How can we get there? Is Ning Qingxin still alive? Is she still alive? The Shu Lin sword immortal said anxiously as he looked around from time to time. Without the impact of the volcanic meteorites, the spider webs began to spread. Moreover, the spider evil gods hanging in the void seemed to have woken up at this moment. It's him. Isn't that Lei Gong Lin Ling? On the other side, the ancient gods finally got a good look at Lin Ling. They were so shocked that they thought they had misjudged him. In their view, after experiencing such a long time, Lin Ling should have long left the gods' fall void. Lei Gong Lin Ling. Goddess Tian-Si gritted her teeth and stared at the spider god web. Suddenly, she understood that Lin Ling wanted to save that woman. This meant that the cold man that the woman had asked them about was actually Lin Ling. Thinking of this, Goddess Tian-Si suddenly burst into laughter. Ha ha ha, it's too late to save her now. She only has 1 breath left. Lin Ling, you can only watch as she turns into a dried corpse. Humph, now that Lin Ling can't even protect himself, he's going to become a dried corpse. Some people also laughed. They never expected that Lin Ling, who had been chasing after him for such a long time, would actually die here. All of this was too dramatic. Moreover, after Lin Ling died, wouldn't they be able to keep all the treasures on him? Thinking of this, everyone's eyes burned with excitement. Lei Gong Lin Ling, you're just an early-stage mid-god. However, these spider god webs are something that even mid-stage mid-gods wouldn't dare to face. Huh, you're dead meat. Of course, the happiest person was none other than Goddess Tian-Si. Break. However, just as she finished speaking, Lin Ling gently struck out with his sword. Pangu strike, split the heavens. Split the heavens, create life, the world is mine. At this moment, within the spider web, Ning Qingxin was hit by a powerful aura. Her tired eyes slowly opened, and endless illusions appeared before her eyes. It was the Buddha teaching her the great Tao. At this moment, she had formed a golden Buddha body and achieved eternity. However, she didn't know that all of this was just an illusion left to her by the spider god webs. At this moment, she really wanted to fall asleep, as if she had entered eternity. However, deep in her heart, there was an obsession that she couldn't let go of for a long time. She didn't know what this obsession was, but if she couldn't figure it out, she would never become a Buddha. Rumble. Suddenly, a palm appeared between heaven and earth, slashing the Buddhas and the endless Buddha bodies, splitting the world in half. An eternal path seemed to appear before her eyes. On that path, a cold-looking man in a blue robe walked over step by step. His cold and emotionless eyes, and his face that would not be alarmed even if the sky fell, were truly shocking. Sen. Senior. Ning Qingxin said weakly. At this moment, she realized that her obsession was that man. She had been searching for this man for an answer, but he had left her. Now, he had returned. He had come to tear through heaven and earth and cut through heaven and earth. Sen. Senior, please enlighten me. Ning Qingxin said weakly. This sentence seemed to have drained her of all her strength. You. Why are you doing this? A calm voice drifted into her ears. Just as she was about to ask something, she lost consciousness in the end. Her vitality, cultivation, and everything else had been sucked away. She was on the verge of death. Fine, it's your destiny to meet me. Lin Ling sighed. Endless vitality surged in his body and flowed into his finger. He pointed at it and it fell into Ning Qingxin's body. Although this vitality couldn't help Ning Qingxin recover, at least it saved her life for the time being. Back then, Lin Ling used his Tao to return to the heavenly plane to cultivate and used endless vitality to break through the bottleneck. Now, countless vitality had already gathered in his body. Now, he was using his vitality to ask Ning Qingxin for help. Although they had only met by chance, Ning Qingxin's stubbornness in pursuing her Tao had completely moved Lin Ling. Lei Gong Lin Ling. At this moment, Goddess Tianxi's voice came from afar. Lin Ling raised his eyes and looked over. His face was cold. Ha ha ha, I didn't expect you to seek your own death for a woman. This is helping us. We can watch you turn into a mummy and then take your treasures. Goddess Tianxi had always been cunning. She had seen through Lin Ling's schemes many times. This time, it was the same. She knew that Lin Ling had come for the woman, but he had already put himself in danger. Although Lin Ling had broken the spider god web, in her opinion, that was Lin Ling's strongest attack. And there were still many spider god webs around them. Lei Gong, watch her. Lin Ling handed Ning Qingxin to Lei Gong and looked at Goddess Tianxi. He wanted to kill that woman when they were in Emperor Yao's territory. This woman was disgusting and domineering, and she had ruined his plans time and time again. To be honest, the reason why Lin Ling could fall out with Emperor Yao was not only because of the giant white tiger god, but also because of Goddess Tianxi. Of course, if she hadn't forced him, Lin Ling wouldn't have killed so many people in Emperor Yao's territory. Chapter 4684. How unlucky. Everyone else has left, but we haven't. Goddess Tianxi sneered. She thought that Lin Ling had returned because he thought that everyone else had left. You misunderstood me. What I mean is, do you think you can kill me with just the few of you? However, at this moment, Lin Ling spoke again. Goddess Tianxi and the others were stunned. Lin Ling was just an early-stage mid-god, and they were all mid-stage mid-gods. How could Lin Ling think that they were too few? What a joke. Lin Ling, you're as arrogant as ever, but I have to admit that your strength is terrifying among early-stage mid-gods. But now that you have to face those spider evil gods, you're dead for sure. Goddess Tian-Si sneered coldly. No matter when, she was always able to analyze the situation. She could guess what the other party was thinking. Humph, even if he can defeat the spider evil god, he will have exhausted all his tricks by then. He will not be able to fight against us. An old man beside her sneered. Moreover, he can't even defeat the spider evil god. As he spoke, the spider god's webs had already spread and wrapped around Lin Ling and the others. The Shu Lin sword immortal looked around and his face turned pale. He had lost the ability to fight back. The poisonous web spread in all directions, making it impossible for them to escape. It's just the spider evil god. But at this time, Lin Ling coldly shouted. He had come for the evil spider god, so how could he be afraid of it? However, his words made Goddess Tian-Si and the others laugh even louder. Just that. Just that. Lin Ling did not know how many gods the spider evil god had killed, nor did he know what the spider evil god was made of. He just dared to say it. This only showed Lin Ling's ignorance. Earth-splitting slash. At the same time, Lin Ling made his move. As if he had transformed into an ancient beast, his powerful body charged forward. Whoosh! The poisonous webs wrapped around Lin Ling, but they could not stop Lin Ling's charge. The poisonous spikes could not penetrate his body. It was as if Lin Ling was stirring up the waters of a great river, tearing apart the poison net and causing it to tumble. This brat. Lei Gong had already seen Lin Ling's methods before, but seeing it again, he still felt as if he was invincible in the universe. Bang! Lin Ling rushed in front of one of the evil spider gods and punched out. Earth-splitting technique. Unless it was a god stairway, it would be invincible against any attack. Blood exploded as the evil spider god was blasted apart by a single fist. A red thread drifted down and was obtained by Lin Ling. Bang! In the next moment, another evil spider god was blasted apart by Lin Ling, blood gushing everywhere. Run! As more and more of the evil spider gods were killed, the remaining evil spider gods began to speak in human language and were planning to flee. It was clear that they had been in a state of cultivation all this time and had not paid any attention to what was happening outside. But now, too many evil spider gods had died, so they had completely come to their senses. You've met your nemesis. How could Lin Ling let them escape? The invincible bronze-colored body pressed out in a domineering manner, as if Pan Gu had descended. This is the same technique that we saw last time. It seems to be an invincible divine ability. Yeah, last time we thought there was a power limit, but later we found that it was impossible. It seems to be a time limit. Such a divine ability, I'm afraid it's the most ancient technique of the ancient gods. Seeing Lin Ling killing in all directions, Goddess Tian-Si and the others were stunned and their eyes widened. Previously, they thought that Lin Ling would not be able to deal with the evil spider gods, but in the blink of an eye, Lin Ling showed them what invincibility was. Rumble. In just a dozen breaths, the evil spider gods in the void were torn apart, and all the evil spider gods were killed. In the void, a man carried the corpses of the evil spider gods and slowly walked toward Goddess Tian-Si and the others. Rumble. Meteors arrived and blasted on the man's body, but the meteors exploded, and the man was unharmed. He did not even move an inch. Terrifying. He was like an ancient giant beast. This also caused Goddess Tian-Si and the others to be frozen in place. One word appeared in the depths of their eyes, and that was fear. Lin Ling, you still want to play the same trick? Fake and real, real and fake. I know that this invincible divine ability of yours has a time limit. The current you is just an ordinary early-stage mid-god. Suddenly, Goddess Tian-Si's eyes lit up and she sneered coldly. This time, she seemed to have seen through Lin Ling again. In fact, she had guessed correctly. Lin Ling's earth splitter only had 15 breaths of time. Really? Some gods also felt that an early-stage mid-god could be invincible. This was too heaven-defying and did not conform to the laws of the universe. I'm sure. Lin Ling, do you dare to admit it? Goddess Tian-Si nodded calmly, but she was still looking at Lin Ling. Goddess Tian-Si, I have to say, you are really disgusting. At this time, Lin Ling also spoke calmly. Ha ha ha, I must have seen through you. Lei Gong Lin Ling, you used all your strength to kill the evil spider god. What power do you have left to face us? Goddess Tian-Si could not help but laugh. She knew that Lin Ling's words meant that she had guessed correctly. Lei Gong Lin Ling, I really did not expect that you would venture into danger alone for a woman. If I had known, I would have captured this woman and used her to threaten you. Unfortunately, this woman was also tricked by me to go to the spider god's web. Perhaps this is fate. Goddess Tian-Si said with a smile. Hearing this, Lin Ling's eyes narrowed and his murderous aura surged. Ning Qingxin had no enmity with Goddess Tian-Si and the others. She only wanted to pursue her own Tao. But these people were despicable and shameless enough to attack her. It's too early for you to laugh. Lin Ling's terrifying soul energy began to surge out of his body. Vertical lines appeared out of nowhere and sliced the rift apart, as if they were forming a great universe. However, these vertical lines were not dangerous at all. They were like the light of the universe. Universe 3 Extreme Destruction, Demon Subduing Destruction. What is this? As soon as the soul energy appeared, the gods who were previously arrogant all frowned. It was too strange. There was no sense of danger, but their souls continued to tremble. Goddess Tian-Si, you think you have seen through me? But I, Lin Ling, am not someone who can be seen through by others. Lin Ling's voice floated out, and the terrifying ray suppressed everything like the universe. Oh no! What is this? Run! At this moment, the gods' souls trembled even more violently. They were panicking. Although they did not know why they were panicking, their instincts told them that they could not withstand this attack. Lei Gong Lin Ling. Looking at Goddess Tian-Si, her face was ferocious. She did not expect Lin Ling to have such a move. When she wanted to resist, the countless vertical lines had already flown over and passed through them like a net. Chapter 4685. Even the protection of the Tao state is useless. Goddess Tian-Si stood quietly in the sky and discovered a terrifying fact. Then, her soul dissipated. She had never thought that Lin Ling, who she had been chasing, would have the means to kill her. And it was a complete annihilation, leaving no room for negotiation. Looking at the other gods, their souls were also dissipating. That was the only thought in their minds. What kind of move is this? In the void, a large number of corpses were floating there. The sword immortal of Shu Lin was stunned and could not believe his eyes. A mid-stage middle god had died just like that, and there was more than one of them. Lin Ling plundered Goddess Tian-Si and the others. After obtaining a large number of treasures, he left with the sword immortal of Shu Lin and the others. The evil spider god, a god-demon born in the god meteorite void, is really terrifying. It can absorb the vitality of the gods and make the protection of the Tao state useless. Lin Ling looked at Ning Qingxin and frowned slightly. Ning Qingxin must have had 3 chances to use the protection of the Tao state, but she could not use it even once. Senior, can Ning Qingxin be saved? The sword immortal of Shu Lin caught up with Lin Ling and asked anxiously. Now, at least I'm still alive. Lin Ling was still staring at Ning Qingxin. Ning Qingxin's hair had fallen out, and her face was full of wrinkles. She looked like an 80-year-old woman who was hanging on by her vitality. But her vitality would eventually dissipate, as if she had died of old age. By then, Lin Ling would not be able to help her. After all, she was a god who had died of old age, not an ordinary mortal. Don't worry, there will be a way. Lin Ling said to the sword immortal of Shu Lin. To be honest, he had done everything he could. After all, he and Ning Qingxin were just strangers. But in the end, Lin Ling still couldn't bear to see her die. After all, this was related to Lin Ling. Along the way, Lin Ling and Lei Gong also joined forces to kill the evil spider gods they encountered. Most of the evil spider gods in the God Meteor Fall Void had been killed. As for the evil spider gods in the more remote areas, Lin Ling and the others ignored them. After a long time, Lin Ling returned to the ancient volcano again. He exchanged the spider evil god for the Tao realm fragment and some treasures that could protect the soul and soul. He then set up a boundary array around Ning Qingxin to keep her alive until her last breath. A god's death can't compare to a mortal's. Lei Gong sighed. He also knew what happened to Ning Qingxin. If a mortal died of old age, a divine pill could easily prolong their life. However, it was very difficult to become a god. At the very least, ordinary divine pills and treasures couldn't do that. Otherwise, those powerful gods wouldn't have reached the end of their lifespan. This was one of the great laws of the universe. Is Ning Qingxin really going to die? The Shu Lin sword immortal's face was extremely gloomy. He looked at Lin Ling expectantly, but in the end, he sighed softly. He also knew that Lin Ling had tried his best. Previously, he had also used a lot of treasures to help Ning Qingxin. After all, Lin Ling and Ning Qingxin had only met once. Senior, perhaps this is fate. The Shu Lin sword immortal comforted him. However, Lin Ling remained silent. Suddenly, he looked up at the sky. His eyes were red with a touch of unwillingness and stubbornness. For some reason, he suddenly had an obsession in his heart. That was, he had to save Ning Qingxin. If he couldn't even save Ning Qingxin, how could he, Lin Ling, save his family? How could he fight against the will of the world? The heavens want to take her life. I will take it from the heavens. Lin Ling said lightly. His voice made Lei Gong and the Shu Lin sword immortal tremble. They looked at Lin Ling in disbelief. Lin Ling didn't say anything. With his current ability, he didn't know how to save her for now. Therefore, he planned to go to the square prison to ask. Ning Qingxin won't be in danger for now. During this time, I will definitely find a way to save her. Lin Ling said to Lei Gong and the sword immortal. Then, he left. After choosing a quiet corner, Lin Ling entered the square prison. Master Sangui, if a god dies of old age, how can we save him? Looking at the wretched old man in the prison cell, Lin Ling asked directly. Sir. Master Sangui revealed his yellow teeth. After hearing Yi Han's question, he touched his chin and pondered. A god dies of old age. This is an unusual death. In fact, it's like having one foot in the underworld. It's really difficult to save him. Because the underworld has already recorded his name. The laws of the universe have already descended on this person. Even Daluo immortals can't save him. Sir, I can't help you in this regard. However, when it comes to saving people, there are 3 people in this prison who might be able to do it. They are also the 3 strongest ancient gods in the prison. Master Sangui said with a smile. The 3 ancient gods. Lin Ling frowned. A jade slip appeared in his hand and he kept checking it. However, what shocked him was that the jade slip didn't record these 3 people. Milord, these 3 aren't recorded in the quadrangle prison. If you want to pay them a visit, you'll have to find them in person. The gods in the prison more or less know about them, but whether or not they'll help you will depend on your luck. Master Sangui said, Sir, if you come for the Tao state fragment in the future, remember to find me. I can help you with anything about the Tao state. However, if it's about strength and the laws of the universe, it's up to Master Sangui. Master Sangui. Lin Ling nodded. After asking Master Sangui about the location of Master Sangui, he strode over. They weren't recorded in the square prison but were still imprisoned in the prison. This meant that these three people were very strong. Moreover, any prison calamity was useless against them. I didn't expect that there would be three ancient gods in this prison. Lin Ling was shocked. One had to know that experts like Master Sangui and Rainbow Cloud Ancestor were extremely powerful. However, Master Sangui was even more powerful. This made Lin Ling curious. Who were they? Following Master Sangui's guidance, Yi Han came to a corridor. What was surprising was that this corridor seemed to have been born out of thin air. The entire corridor was filled with dense fog and there were only 3 prison cells. Lin Ling walked along the corridor and glanced at the 3 prison cells. He was shocked to find that the scene in the prison cells was a different world. The first prison cell was a world of flames. Rolling flames filled the void as if there was a universe inside. The second prison cell was an endless green mountain. It was majestic and magnificent. The third prison cell was a vast blue sky. Is this still a prison? Lin Ling was speechless. To these ancient gods, prison cells were nothing more than floating clouds. They had created their own universe and lived a colorful life in it. As expected of ancient gods. Lin Ling stood quietly in the corridor. However, there was no one in the 3 prison cells. It was very mysterious. It seemed that Master Sangui didn't give him any face at all. Chapter 4686. This middle-aged man was dressed in a Taoist robe. He was not tall and gave off a cultured and refined feeling. He smiled and said, I am Guang Chengzi. Guang Chengzi, Kongtong Mountain's Taoist ancestor, primeval Lord of Heaven's disciple. Lin Ling's pupils trembled violently. Lord Prison Master, you are knowledgeable. In this day and age, not many people know of my background. The middle-aged man said with a smile. A very ancient figure. Senior is the Yellow Emperor's teacher. Lin Ling said again. You flatter me. I'm just an old man. Guang Qingzi waved his hand and asked, Lord Prison Master, may I know the reason for your visit? Lin Ling did not hide it and told him his purpose. A middle deity, no wonder Lord Prison Master is helpless. Because Lord Prison Master is only a middle deity. To save someone, one must be at least a peak higher deity. Guang Qingzi nodded and smiled. Lord Prison Master and I are fated. This time, I can help Lord Prison Master. Moreover, my disciple, the Yellow Emperor, is currently looking for the great Yin-Yang primordial mystery dragon. This dragon has the essence of Yin and Yang in its body. It is the best medicine to reverse Yin and Yang and save that middle deity. With a few more divine medicines, this person can be saved. Those divine medicines are all at the celestial level, so there is no need for Lord Prison Master to worry. Lin Ling was stunned. He did not expect Guang Qingzi to be so easy to talk to and directly tell him the solution. After all, this was one of the 3 supremes. The other gods in the prison were not as easy to talk to as Guang Qingzi. For example, Old Devil Master was not moved by force or persuasion. If he did not seek death at the critical moment, Lin Ling would not have been able to control him. Lin Ling could not help but be cautious. Don't worry, Lord Prison Master. Although I am not under your jurisdiction in the square prison, I cannot offend you. Lord Prison Master will know the secret of this in the future. Guang Qingzi seemed to know what Lin Ling was thinking and smiled faintly. Moreover, Lord Prison Master and I are fated. Fated with you? Lin Ling frowned. Master Guangqing nodded. Back then, we met. However, the secrets of heaven cannot be divulged. When Lord Prison is about to know everything, he will know. Lin Ling immediately fell silent and fell into deep thought. Although he didn't fully trust Master Guang Chengzi, he didn't lose out in this matter. How do we find the great Yin Yang ancient mystery dragon? Lin Ling asked. This dragon is not a true dragon. It is formed from the ancient Xian Qi of the universe. It takes 500 years to become a horned dragon, 1,000 years to become a flood dragon, 30,000 years to become an angel, 1,000,000 years to become a gold, and 30 million years to become a Xian. Guang Qingzi said indifferently, I'll teach you the method to search for it, and I'll teach you the method to subdue it. But remember, you can't kill this dragon, or you'll be violating the laws of heaven. You can only take the things on its body. If it sees you using the method, it will definitely know who is subduing it. Under normal circumstances, it won't resist. Furthermore, my disciple, the Yellow Emperor, is also looking for this dragon. You can also help him. As for how to find my disciple, I will teach you another method. A ray of light enveloped Lin Ling suddenly, 2 more treasures appeared on Lin Ling's body, and a large number of techniques appeared in his mind. It was as if countless barriers were colliding in the vast void, and finally, they dissipated in Lin Ling's mind. When Lin Ling opened his eyes, endless barriers appeared in his pupils, intertwining with each other, and a powerful aura spread out. What a powerful method! This level of barriers is simply something I've never seen in my life. Lin Ling sucked in a breath of cold air. Fortunately, his soul power had greatly increased, otherwise, it would be difficult to digest these barriers. Then, he stared at the 2 treasures in his hands. They were a bell and a sword. These 2 treasures were the top of the Chaos Saint tools. Although they weren't as precious as Chaos Divine tools, they were able to unleash their full potential. For example, Lin Ling's Quafu Sun Chasing Boots. Although it was one of the top 10 Chaos Divine tools, Lin Ling's strength was too weak, and it couldn't unleash its full potential. Falling Soul Bell, Male and Female Sword. Lin Ling knew the names of these 2 treasures, and he knew how to control them. Unfortunately, these treasures could only be used once. It was as if Guang Chengzi had lent them to Lin Ling. Thank you, Senior Guang Chengzi. Lin Ling immediately bowed to the middle-aged man. This is fate between you and me. Moreover, I want you to help my disciple. My disciple's divine skill requires the help of the great Yin-Yang ancient mystery dragon every 30 million years. Now that the time has come, he is also looking for this item. Go, go. Guang Chengzi slowly disappeared from the prison cell, and the world of endless green mountains was restored. So this is the ancient giant god. Lin Ling muttered to himself, and then left the square prison. None of the 3 lords were easy to deal with, and they were also the 3 strongest pillars of the square prison. This made Lin Ling curious about the other 2 lords. After leaving the square prison, Lin Ling immediately found Lei Gong and the Shu Lin sword deity, and told them that there was a way to save Ning Qingxin. After hearing the news, the Shu Lin sword deity was undoubtedly very happy. Lin Ling decided to let the Shu Lin sword deity and Ning Qingxin stay here, and when he was ready, he would come to save Ning Qingxin. The Shu Lin sword deity also agreed, and did not suspect Lin Ling. After all, if Lin Ling really wanted to abandon Ning Qingxin, it was not a big deal. He did not need to find any excuse to leave. At most 3 years, at least 1 year. I will definitely be back. Here are some treasures. You can keep Ning Qingxin alive for a certain period of time, and she should be able to hold on for 3 years. Lin Ling left some treasures, and then left with Lei Gong. This time, they had killed 50 spider evil gods in the god meteorite void, and obtained 50,000 Tao state fragments, which they shared with Lei Gong. Among the 10,000 Tao state fragments, Lin Ling used them to exchange for treasures to help Ning Qingxin. Therefore, he and Lei Gong each obtained 20,000 Tao state fragments. According to Lin Ling's estimation, these Tau state fragments should be enough for him to enter the middle stage of the intermediate celestial realm. However, the most important thing now was not to break through, but to find Longyang first, and then find the Yellow Emperor. After all, no one knew how long this breakthrough would take. If it took more than 3 years, then Ning Qingxin would definitely die. This way. Lin Ling led Lei Gong forward. Not long after, they arrived at a valley. This valley was where Longyang and the others were. However, there were not many gods outside the valley, and they had never seen them before. It was not as dangerous as the Divine Mountain. After Lin Ling and Lei Gong appeared, the gods around glanced at Lin Ling and the others. Seeing that they were unfamiliar gods, they ignored them. Lin Ling and Lei Gong did not stop. They came to the entrance of the valley, where there was a large area of fog, and gods walked out of the fog from time to time. It was obvious that there were less than 9 layers of fog here, so it should not be difficult to walk through. Lin Ling did not stop. He led Lei Gong into the fog. Oh my God, look at those two. Chapter 4687. Lin Ling and Lei Ying's careless actions undoubtedly shocked the gods outside the valley, causing them to cry out incessantly. What's going on? Why are you making such a fuss? These are ancient gods. Several powerful gods walked over from afar. They were all late-stage mid-gods, and the woman in the lead was early-stage mid-gods. However, the gods behind her seemed to be giving her face. This meant that her background was not to be underestimated. Her expression was arrogant as she stared at the shocked gods, her eyes full of disdain. This woman was the daughter of the heavenly emperor of supreme polarity of the West. Back in the ancient times, she was also an extremely famous god. However, her father was more dazzling, so most of the gods remembered him. The heavenly emperor of supreme polarity of the West was now second only to the 5 emperors in the entire Tao realm. His strength was incomparably tyrannical. It's Goddess Yuing. Some people looked at the insufferably arrogant goddess and whispered to each other. You people, no wonder you all fell in the great calamity of the world. After cultivating for so many years, you still can't stay calm. What a pity. The woman shook her head. She had come to the valley for only one purpose, and that was to find her tomb. Now that she had reincarnated, she had entered the valley as a new Tao realm cultivator. Therefore, she was here to pick someone up. No, Goddess Yuing, someone entered the miasma just now, an old man explained. It's just entering the miasma. What's so great about that? You lost your composure just because of that? You should know that there are countless people who enter the miasma every year. You said they entered the miasma from outside the valley? Goddess Yuing did not care at first, but as she spoke, her beautiful eyes suddenly focused. Then, her body trembled imperceptibly. It was normal to enter the miasma from inside the valley. However, it was abnormal to enter the miasma from outside the valley. Everyone knew that entering the miasma from outside the valley meant being lost in the miasma forever, which was equivalent to death. However, despite knowing that it was a taboo, someone still chose to enter. It was simply unheard of. At this moment, within the miasma, a soul lamp appeared on Lin Ling's body as he led Lei Gong forward. An ancient scene quietly appeared in the grey fog. However, this time, it wasn't Lin Ling. Instead, it was Lei Gong. Lei Gong's past life and present life both appeared, causing Lei Gong to be extremely shocked. Lin Ling sighed softly. He wanted to see his origin again, but this time, he failed. After a while, a bright light appeared up ahead, and the two of them emerged from the miasma. Almost at the same time, an ancient voice rang out. Just like Lin Ling, Lei Gong now had another chance to be protected by the Tao realm. But this time, Lin Ling didn't get anything. It seems that there is only one reward. Lin Ling thought to himself. Sweeping his gaze across the area, an ancient valley came into view. This valley wasn't as big as the island or the sacred mountain, but there were many dense forests. One could vaguely see gods cultivating here, and most of them had the strength of a lower deity. When Lin Ling and Lei Gong walked out of the miasma, it undoubtedly shocked all the gods. This. The gods were dumbfounded and felt that their eyes were playing tricks on them. However, Lin Ling did not pay any attention to them and continued to look around. Fellow cultivator, did you walk out of the miasma? More and more gods came over out of admiration and humbly asked Lin Ling for guidance. They stared at Lin Ling as if they were looking at an ancient saint. Then, the god who spoke sensed Lin Ling's cold gaze and hurriedly bowed. I don't have any other intentions. I'm just curious. The gods in this valley were ultimately fewer in number and weaker in strength. They weren't as arrogant as the gods on the sacred mountain. Didn't you see it? Lin Ling also replied indifferently. Then, he said, is there someone called Longyang here? Longyang? I don't seem to remember her. I think I've heard of her, but she seems to have been taken away by the Tao realm and hasn't returned yet. The deities scrambled to be the first to speak. Lei Gong Lin Ling. Suddenly, a loud roar came from the crowd. Then, a few gods ran over and looked at Lin Ling in disbelief. They were the 10 orthodoxies of the 9 continents void and also White Water Plain Lady's followers. They already felt that Lin Ling looked very familiar. However, they couldn't be sure because they didn't believe that Lin Ling would come here and walk out of the miasma. In their opinion, although Lin Ling was powerful, he had at most walked out of the miasma earlier than them. Therefore, they didn't dare to greet him for fear of offending these 2 powerhouses. They only reacted when Lin Ling mentioned Longyang. After all, there weren't many people in the Tao realm who knew Longyang. Other than the 3 divine sects of White Mountain, the rest were the people of the 9 continents void. It's you guys. Lin Ling also looked at the 10 orthodoxies. Thump. One of the orthodoxies was instantly stunned. After confirming that it was Lin Ling, he couldn't believe it. Back then, in the Eastern Divine Land, Lin Ling challenged the 10 orthodoxies alone. At that time, Lin Ling was already very powerful and they didn't dare to underestimate him. However, Lin Ling had now grown to such a level. Not only did he walk into the valley, but the surrounding gods were also terrified. They knew that these gods were incomparably arrogant when they first entered the Tao realm. They looked down on newcomers like them and were bullied a lot. Maha-orthodoxy, you know these 2 seniors. That was indeed the case. Seeing the 10 orthodoxies greet Lin Ling, the surrounding gods' faces changed. Because they were newcomers to the 10 orthodoxies, they were bullied a lot. However, it was different now. These 10 orthodoxies had such a strong backer. Of course, he's from our universe. He's from our hometown. Maha-orthodoxy and the others raised their chins, feeling extremely carefree. Wow, I knew that Maha-orthodoxy and the others had an extraordinary background. Now that I've met you today, you're still as elegant as ever. That's right. When you first came, I already felt that you guys were extraordinary. Ha ha ha. White Cloud Orthodoxy, didn't you ask us how to get Tao Realm fragments? You can get 3 Tao Realm fragments by catching Tao Realm birds in the forest. We'll let you have that place. The god smiled and said courteously. That's not good. Maha-orthodoxy and the others replied calmly. However, they were even more excited than before. If they weren't afraid of embarrassing Lin Ling and the others, they would have been so excited that they couldn't even stand properly. This was the first time they felt like humans after coming to this valley. In the past, they were like dogs. Maha-orthodoxy, do you know where Longyang is? Lin Ling didn't have time to entertain their small talk and asked calmly. I know. However, there are more than 10 powerful gods guarding Longyang and waiting for Longyang to return. Lin Ling, I'm afraid we'll have to reconsider this. Maha-Orthodoxy frowned. Chapter 4688. Lin Ling, Longnyang is over here. Hearing Lin Ling's cold voice, the 10 orthodoxies hurriedly pointed out the direction, and their hearts skipped a beat. They knew Lin Ling's character. Although he was proud, he was not arrogant. If he dared to say such a thing, he must have absolute confidence. This meant that when they were still cultivating in the valley, Lin Ling had already fought countless battles in the Tao realm, and had seen more of the world than they did. I heard that the people guarding Longnyang and the others are from the 3 divine gates of White Mountain. How dare this guy offend them? This guy is strong, but he can't compare to the 3 divine gates of White Mountain. I think he doesn't know how strong the 3 divine gates of White Mountain are. I think so too. When he sees the experts of White Mountain, he won't dare to say anything. The gods around them whispered. Because they had never left the Tao realm, they subconsciously believed that the 3 divine gates of White Mountain were the strongest. Lin Ling and Lei Gong followed the 10 orthodoxies. Not long after, in a forest, more than 10 gods sat cross-legged in a circle, as if they were waiting for something. Lin Ling only took one look and immediately knew that the circle was where Longnyang left the Tao realm. These gods were waiting for Longnyang's return. Kill them. Lin Ling and Lei Gong looked at each other, then walked forward. Rumble. How could the gods withstand their attacks? In the blink of an eye, 3 of them were killed by the light of the Tao realm. Moreover, they died in a daze, not knowing what happened. Do you have a death wish? Why did you attack us? The others' faces changed, and they all shouted angrily. As for the 10 orthodoxies, they were all tongue-tied. They did not expect Lin Ling and the others to be so arrogant, attacking without saying a word. They really attacked. These 2 are really bold. I think they don't know what the 3 divine gates of White Water Mountain represent. Let's wait and see. The gods watching from afar were still whispering. We're from Burning Heart. You're so bold, aren't you afraid of death? Among the 3 divine gates of White Mountain, there was a god that emitted a powerful aura. Burning Heart. Lin Ling sneered. He already knew that the ancient Buddha Burning Heart was behind the 3 divine gates of White Mountain. Even so, Lin Ling was not afraid. That's right. Burned Heart, Bai Shan, and Deng Xian are the magnates of the Chaos Realm. We have the oldest ancient giant god behind us. In the Chaos Realm, not many people dare to provoke us. Even the ancient giant gods of the Chaos Realm have to bow to us. I respectfully address you as fellow Taoist. Another god stood up and said sternly, I don't know why you dare to attack us, but you'd better go to White Mountain and ask for forgiveness. If it weren't for the fact that Lin Ling and Yi Zichen weren't weak, they wouldn't have wasted any more words and would have directly killed them. Now, they had brought out their backer in order to intimidate Lin Ling and the others. Rumble. However, just as they finished speaking, Lin Ling took another god's life with a punch. Do you know what White Mountain is? This time, the gods were furious. They had been talking for a long time, but these 2 didn't seem to understand at all. I know what White Mountain represents, but you know what he and I represent. Lin Ling didn't show any mercy and took a few more lives. What do you and he represent? By now, the gods of the 3 divine gates of White Mountain felt that something was wrong. This time, Lei Gong sneered and said first, I am from Ling Nation, and my name is Lei Gong. As for him, he is from the void of the 9 states, and he is the current Lei Gong of Lei Gong Hall. His name is Lin Ling. Lei Gong. 2 Lei Gongs. What a familiar name, especially Lin Ling. I think I've heard of him before. Wait, could it be that Lei Gong Lin Ling? Impossible, how could he appear here? The gods of the 3 divine gates of White Mountain were stunned, but they immediately reacted. They had been waiting for Longnyang, so they naturally knew some things about the void of the 9 states. One or two of them even knew that it was Lin Ling's appearance that saved Xiaoluan and Longyang. Moreover, Lei Gong Lin Ling arrived at the foot of the mountain, fought the gods, and took Xiaoluan away. "It's you. Why are you here?" "Oh no, why would this person be afraid of White Mountain? He's here for White Mountain. Run. Inform the Lord immediately." The people of the 3 divine gates of White Mountain panicked and ran away anxiously. This gave all the gods watching from afar a huge fright. They thought that when the 3 divine gates of White Mountain announced their origins, these 2 people would definitely be afraid. However, the reality was completely different from what they imagined. Instead, when these 2 people announced their origins, the 3 divine gates of White Mountain were afraid. What kind of background did these 2 people have to be afraid of White Mountain? Without a doubt, this was beyond their imagination. No matter how hard they racked their brains, they couldn't think of any god in the Chaos Realm who dared to challenge the 3 divine gates of White Mountain. Lei Gong Lin Ling, you're ruthless enough. However, you're still too inexperienced to take our lives. Although the gods of White Mountain were planning to leave, they still didn't back down. Sometimes, you might not be able to escape from my hands. Lin Ling sneered and activated the 3 extreme universe destruction, demon subduing break, forming a large number of vertical lines that flooded over. This powerful soul attack was like a great universe, causing people to feel a sense of fear and trepidation. However, they couldn't sense any danger, which caused the protection of the Tao realm to not appear. Of course, they could actually leave the Tao realm on their own. However, they would be away from the Tao realm for a long time, about the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. However, a battle between gods was ever-changing. One breath was enough to kill them, let alone an incense stick's time. We can't escape. Lord Lin Ling, please spare our lives, please spare our lives. We can kill ourselves. The forest was in chaos. A few people attacked themselves, causing the Tao realm protection to appear and take them away. When the cosmic rays passed by, the remaining people were all motionless. Their souls had completely collapsed. Witnessing this scene with their own eyes, everyone, including the 10 orthodoxies, was speechless for a long time. Too powerful. Beyond their imagination. The other gods were still fine. They didn't know Lin Ling's origins. They only knew that Lin Ling was very strong. However, the 10 orthodoxies couldn't do the same. This was because they knew that Lin Ling was only slightly stronger than them not too long ago. No wonder Lady White Sui Nu was willing to follow him. His potential is really terrifying. Yeah, in the void of the 9 continents, because of the limited cultivation resources, it wasn't obvious. However, once he entered the Tao realm, under the same illusion, his advantage was revealed. The man of the 9 continents void is Lin Ling. Chapter 4689. On the other side, when Longyang learned that she was safe, she was stunned for a long time. Because Xiaoluan had returned to the Tao realm not long ago, she had been looking forward to it for a long time. However, when she thought about the distance between the valley and the divine mountain, she waited patiently. However, she didn't expect Lin Ling to summon her so quickly. A 5-colored light appeared, and Longyang's figure quietly condensed. As soon as she appeared, she immediately looked around vigilantly. No need to look, they're all dead. Lin Ling smiled at Longyang. They're all dead. Longyang looked at Lin Ling solemnly. She felt that after returning from the path of domination, Lin Ling's strength had increased by a lot. If this continued, how could she surpass Lin Ling? The great hatred between her and Lin Ling was born in the Spirit Province. However, from the Spirit Province to the final world, then to the 9 states, and even to the Tao realm, this hatred was still endless. She believed that she had grown very quickly, but compared to Lin Ling, this speed was still more than 10 times slower. Of course, she wasn't jealous because she was familiar with Lin Ling. She knew that Lin Ling must have put in a lot of hard work and sweat to achieve his current strength. Once you return to the Tao realm, you can also become stronger. Lin Ling knew what Longyang was thinking and said calmly. In fact, he was also looking forward to the battle with Longyang to settle the knot in their hearts. However, Longyang had never caught up to him, so Lin Ling could only wait. "This is Lei Gong," Lin Ling said. Lei Gong. Longyang couldn't help but look at Lei Gong seriously. She knew that Lei Gong was also a host of the world will. "Hee, we're on the same side." Lei Gong smiled. For some reason, his soft words made Longyang feel good. Perhaps it was because they were both hosts of the world will. "Come on, let's get out of here." Lin Ling didn't plan to stay any longer. He looked into the distance and planned to force his way out of the valley like he had done with the Divine Mountain. He knew very well that Emperor Shun, Emperor Yao, and the White Mountain were still looking for him. Those who were taken away by the Tao realm cultivators would definitely inform the three divine sections. Therefore, he couldn't stay here for long. Lin Ling looked at the 10 orthodoxies and said, "Now, your white water maiden is on the other side, are you going to look for her?" "Go." The 10 orthodoxies nodded. They knew that after Lin Ling left, they would return to their original state. Naturally, they wanted to leave with Lin Ling. Lin Ling nodded and didn't waste any more words. He led the group forward and finally locked onto a cliff in the valley. Then, he led the group up. The cosmic beasts in this valley were lizards, giant snakes, and the like. Any gods who tried to cross the valley and leave would be attacked. Unfortunately, with Lin Ling's current strength, those cosmic beasts couldn't stop him at all. Most importantly, the miasma in this valley was less than 9 layers, so the number of cosmic beasts was much lower. Oh my god, climbing out of the valley is an eye-opener. Don't even think about it. If they could come in from outside the valley, they didn't plan to leave in the usual way. It's normal for them to cross the mountain and leave. That's right, the world that those two powerhouses live in isn't something we can understand. In the valley, the god sighed. The 10 orthodoxies, Longyang, and the others followed Lin Ling and were equally surprised. After a long time, the group appeared outside the valley safe and sound. Lin Ling said to Longyang and the others, "In fact, walking out of the miasma will reward you with Tao realm fragments. However, it will take too long. So, after you find White Water Maiden, she will tell you how to get them." 10 orthodoxies, you are weaker. Follow me for now. When the time is right, you can go find White Water Maiden and familiarize yourself with the Tao realm. Okay, Lord Lin Ling, we'll do as you say. The 10 orthodoxies nodded. Longyang couldn't put down her pride, but she really wasn't familiar with the Tao realm. Moreover, she was weak now, so she could only swallow the humiliation and follow Lin Ling. "Longyang, don't worry. You're the host of the world will. It won't be long before your strength increases greatly. There's still hope for you to catch up to this kid." Lei Gong smiled at Longyang. He knew that Longyang was once a god in Yojin's tomb. "Thank you, Lord Lei Gong." Longyang nodded with a smile and respect for Lei Gong. "You're the ones who walked into the miasma from outside the valley." At this moment, a voice was heard. Countless gods looked at Lin Ling and the others with solemn eyes. This was because these two were still alive. "You are." Lin Ling looked over and discovered that there were several late-stage mid-level experts. The one who spoke was a woman. Although this woman's cultivation level wasn't high, her temperament was extraordinary. This extraordinary temperament came from her bones and wasn't something that was displayed. "Heavenly lightning manifestation, go test his strength," the woman said calmly. As soon as she finished speaking, an early-stage mid-god expert appeared. He controlled violent lightning and turned into a thunder giant. A terrifying punch came crashing down. A 7th-grade mid-god divine fetus. Lin Ling's eyes flashed slightly. Kid, you've got good eyes. I'm one of the strongest early-stage mid-gods. A domineering voice was heard. A total of 8 million divinity energy was mixed in the punch. Lin Ling, let me. Lei Gong said immediately. Lord Lei Gong, there's no need for that. He's coming for me. Lin Ling shook his head. His divine energy fluctuated, and he lightly struck out with his palm. Boom! The fist and palm collided, and the void exploded. A shockwave rushed into the sky, stirring up the clouds. The thunder giant's lightning fist was vast and mighty, maintaining the momentum of a punch. Lin Ling, with one hand behind his back, stretched out his palm calmly. Pop! 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 Wave after wave of divinity energy storms shook the surroundings. Some of the weaker gods were sent flying and smashed into the walls of the valley, causing cracks to appear. They also vomited blood. Kid, you're quite capable. I reckon you're one of the strongest early-stage mid-gods. The thunder giant shouted angrily. What's the meaning of this? You suddenly attacked. Are you challenging me? Lin Ling said calmly. Huh, it's not a challenge. I'm just trying to see if you have any secrets. World of 10 million lightning. The thunder giant shouted angrily. Lightning exploded from his body like a sea urchin. Moreover, it was colorful. This meant that he had cultivated countless types of divine lightning in his life. These divine lightning were also strange. Icy mystic lightning, blazing heavenly lightning, deathless divine lightning, Tai void lightning, and so on. His divine energy instantly exploded into 10 million, and it was still increasing. You won't be able to understand my mysteries. At this time, Lin Ling's third stage talent fusion appeared. 2,000 strength burst out. His physical strength exceeded 10 million. His divine energy exceeded 10 million. Boom! The moment this energy was released, it seemed to shake the heavens and earth, causing the thunder giant's face to change drastically. This strength, he must be invincible among the early-stage mid-gods. The woman narrowed her eyes. She took Lin Ling even more seriously. Chapter 4690. Hold on. The woman had just shouted, but she was still too slow in the end. Now, you've tried it. After he killed the lightning giant, Lin Ling looked at the woman and spoke. Even though there were several late-stage mid-god experts on the other side, Lin Ling still had a trump card that he hadn't utilized. So, he wasn't afraid. Moreover, he had a feeling that the woman didn't provoke him for no reason. There must be something else going on. At this moment, a five-colored light appeared, and the old man that Lin Ling had killed returned. He looked at Lin Ling solemnly. He didn't expect that he would waste a chance to be protected by a Tao realm expert. Aspect of Thunder, how much stronger is he compared to you? The woman looked at the old man and asked. Aspect of Thunder? One of the 9 divisions, he was extremely famous in the Age of Gods. During the Battle of the North Celestial Court, he once guarded 10 million gods and demons, and none of them could break into the Celestial Court. I didn't expect that after reincarnating, he would appear here. It said that he has a high god divine embryo. Everyone recognized the aspect of Thunder, and their faces were solemn. Miss, this person's strength is unfathomable. The old man looked deeply at Lin Ling. He couldn't see through Lin Ling's strength at all. Lin Ling's divine embryo didn't seem to be at the same level as him, but its divine energy was very strong. In addition, there was another powerful force, which seemed to be the power of the flesh. This gave him the illusion that this person didn't just have a divine embryo talent. Unfathomable. The woman frowned at Lin Ling. She knew very well that after the reincarnation of the aspect of Thunder, his strength had always been one of the best in the same realm. For him to say that this person was unfathomable, he must be very strong. In addition, this person could enter the miasma and return safely. He must have a powerful background. Fellow cultivator, may I ask who you were in your previous life? The woman smiled and asked politely. She was the daughter of the heavenly emperor of supreme polarity, goddess Yuing. She was indeed the daughter of a heavenly emperor. After testing him, she immediately restrained her emotions and treated him politely. I don't know either. Lin Ling said indifferently. He. Goddess Yuing immediately smiled. However, she was smooth and slick, so she did not ask too much. She reckoned that this young man had a powerful background in his previous life, but for some reason, he did not want to talk about it. In fact, she didn't know. Lin Ling really didn't know. Fellow Taoist, my father is the heavenly emperor of supreme polarity of the Western continent. For some reason, I need to find some people with strange abilities to go with us to a certain place. There are great opportunities there. If you can help us, fellow Taoist, you'll benefit greatly. Goddess Yuing continued, you don't have to worry. Because of my father, I won't lie to you. Moreover, there are so many people watching here. I won't cause my father to be scolded for not keeping his word. The Western Heavenly Emperor of Supreme Polarity. Lin Ling frowned slightly. Lin Ling, Yang Qi said. His background is not to be underestimated. He's a character from the primeval age who once commanded millions upon millions of gods and dominated a certain area in the south of the Urwild's world. In the primeval age, he was even more domineering and unruly. No one dared to oppose him in the south of the god world. Lei Gong said solemnly. How does he compare to the 5 emperors? Lin Ling asked. The 5 emperors are the leaders of the 5 most ancient human tribes. The heavenly emperor of supreme polarity of the Western continent is still a little short. Lei Gong said. After a short conversation, Lin Ling had become familiar with the heavenly emperor of supreme polarity of the Western continent. The two of them didn't hide anything from each other, so Goddess Yuing also heard them. Although her expression was still calm, there was a hint of pride in her eyes. There weren't many gods in the entire era who didn't know her father's name. I wonder where that place is. Lin Ling looked at Goddess Yuing and asked. I can't say much for now. If fellow Taoist wants to go, I'll give you 3 incense sticks worth of time to think about it. Goddess Yuing said with a smile. Lin Ling immediately looked at Lei Gong and asked for his opinion. Lei Gong shook his head, meaning that everything was up to Lin Ling. Although Lei Gong was once Lin Ling's master, Lei Gong also knew that Lin Ling was a decisive person. No matter what, he would always choose the best path. Lei Gong's hall was an example. Under Lin Ling's leadership, it was much stronger than before. Lin Ling fell into deep thought. Now that he was in this unfamiliar place, it was indeed difficult for him to do anything. Moreover, the experts from the Emperor Shun's side were probably rushing over. It wasn't good to stay here for long. Moreover, he had to find the Yellow Emperor and the Great Yin-Yang Primordial Mystery Dragon to help Ning Qingxin. Therefore, following these people might not be a bad choice. At least he could find out about the Yellow Emperor's whereabouts. All right. Lin Ling nodded and said, but let me say this first. If there is any danger, I will leave immediately and ignore you all. Okay, after this is done, you will also get 5,000 Tao state fragments. If we find any treasures along the way, you will also get a share. Goddess Yuing nodded. She knew that Lin Ling would be very cautious when meeting for the first time. However, she believed that after interacting with him, Lin Ling would also believe her. Human. Of course, the reason why she wanted Lin Ling's help was that she heard that to reach that place, one would have to face a mysterious miasma on the way. Previously, she saw that Lin Ling could walk through the miasma, so she wanted to ask Lin Ling to come along. Fellow cultivator, how should I address you? Lin Ling. Fellow cultivator Lin Ling, we will wait here for a day. When my servant comes out of the valley, we will set off immediately. Of course, if she still hasn't come out of the miasma after a day, we will also set off immediately. That would be the best. After chatting for a while, everyone took a break outside the valley. When Longyang saw that Lin Ling was talking and laughing with the ancient grand gods, her self-esteem was also affected. She could only seize the opportunity to improve her strength. She did not want to be surpassed by Lin Ling too much. Lin Ling could talk and laugh with the ancient grand gods, but what about her? They looked at her as if she was an ant. If she was not by Lin Ling's side, they would not even bother to look at her. This was the difference between them. While Lin Ling was waiting, he was also talking to Yu. He told them that Longyang and the 10 orthodoxies had been found and that they would return in a few days. At the same time, he also asked Yu and the others to keep an eye on Emperor Shun and Emperor Yao. It would be best if they did not expose their whereabouts easily. After that, Lin Ling began to cultivate. He looked at the 20,000 pieces of Tao state fragments and knew that as long as he saved Ning Qingxin, he would be able to break through to the next realm. During this process, Goddess Yuing also talked to Lin Ling politely as if she wanted to find out something from Lin Ling. Chapter 4691. However, if Goddess Yuing knew that the man in front of her was a god who dared to fight against the 5 emperors and was the leader of the 2 great human tribes, Emperor Shun and Emperor Yao, she would know that her father was nothing special. The heavenly emperor of supreme polarity of the West paled in comparison to the 5 emperors. A day passed quietly. Just as Goddess Yuing and the others were about to leave, a young girl finally rushed out of the miasma and came to Goddess Yuing excitedly. "Young mistress, I'm out." The young girl was very happy, like a little rabbit jumping for joy. "Hee, Xiaoying, I've been waiting for you for a long time." Goddess Yu Ying's eyes shone with a doting light. Back then, when the great calamity befell the world, her father could not even protect himself. This caused Goddess Yuing to have no one to help her. However, her maidservant Xiaoying fought with her life and helped her escape. Although Goddess Yuing still couldn't escape death in the end, Xiaoying's action of risking her life to protect her master still moved her. Therefore, after she reincarnated, Goddess Yuing also treated Xiaoying as her own younger sister to make up for the kindness she owed in her previous life. "Hee, I've kept you waiting, young mistress. However, I've tried my best. I came out of the miasma faster than many gods in the valley." Xiaoying giggled. "It's nothing. The miasma in this valley only has 7 layers. Moreover, your background is not small. Naturally, you came out faster than them." Goddess Yuing smiled and shook her head. She led the group away. "Young mistress, who are they?" Xiaoying also saw Lin Ling and the others. She had even seen the 10 orthodoxies and Longyang in the valley. She knew that these people were ordinary existences. What made her curious was that these ordinary gods were qualified to follow her young mistress. "A few capable people, it just so happens that we are going there, so we ask for their help." Goddess Yuing said. "Young miss, you couldn't have been deceived, right? I know all of those people. They were beaten up so miserably in the valley." Xiaoying frowned. Although she was a servant back then, she had followed Goddess Yuing, so her vision was naturally not low. "Xiaoying, I know you're worried about me. But don't worry, they can't trick us. If they can't help us, we'll just let them go." Goddess Yuing smiled and did not mind. Hearing this, Xiaoying pursed her lips and did not say anything more. However, her eyes were full of disdain towards Longyang and the others. Even though she sensed that Lin Ling and the Thunder God were more powerful, they were only mid-level deities, and it wasn't like she hadn't seen them before. Coupled with the trash from the 10 orthodoxies, he probably wouldn't be that strong either. "Humph, lowly little god, you probably used some method to deceive Mississippi. Unfortunately, the world that Miss once lived in is not something that you can understand. It won't be long before you will be beaten back to your original form and run away with your tails between your legs. Little Ling thought to herself and ignored Lin Ling and the others. The members of the 10 orthodoxies recognized Xiaoying as well, and when they noticed her gaze, they were all pissed. Of course, even though they were unhappy, they weren't a match for the young girl in the valley, let alone now. Longyan frowned. She had some impression of Xiaoying. Although there was no hatred between them, she remembered that the girl had always been arrogant and looked down on everyone in the valley. At that time, she thought that the girl had not seen much of the world. She was bound to meet her match. But now, it seemed that the girl did have some background. Lin Ling and Lei Gong also saw the girl. However, they ignored her. A girl who was not even an intermediate celestial was not worthy of their attention. Along the way, other than Goddess Yuing and High Minister Heavenly Thunder, the others looked down on Lin Ling and the others. After all, they were late-stage intermediate celestials. They regarded Lin Ling and the others as ants. After a long time, in a mountain range, there was a gentle breeze and leaves were falling. The scenery was beautiful. There was a grass pavilion there. Many people had already gathered in the pavilion. Looking at their background, they were mysterious. Goddess Yuing, you are finally here. I thought it was your father who came for the 1,000-year agreement. A fat Buddha suddenly laughed. This person's strength was extraordinary. He was a late-stage intermediate celestial. Especially with his talent, he was probably an 8th grade or even 9th grade intermediate celestial fetus. Laughing Buddha, you are early. Goddess Yuing smiled at the crowd. It was obvious that she already knew these people. Not far from the Buddha, there were more than 10 people. There were gods wearing Taoist robes and carrying long swords. There were also gods holding chains. They were extremely burly. When they saw Goddess Yuing, they all smiled. But when they looked at the others, their faces turned cold again. It was as if only Goddess Yuing was worthy of their attention. Even the late-stage intermediate celestials around Goddess Yuing, they did not even look at them. All this showed that their background was not small. Is everyone here? At this time, divine light filled the sky in the distance. More than 10 figures arrived. The person in the lead was dressed in brocade clothes. His strength was even more unfathomable. After he appeared, everyone in the pavilion narrowed their eyes. Emperor Donghua, a giant god from the ancient era, had lived until the era of the gods. In the divine world, he guarded the east of the divine world. No one dared to disobey him. His reputation was extremely resounding. This person was on par with Goddess Yu Ying's father, the heavenly emperor of supreme polarity of the West. They were both emperors that could not be underestimated. Unfortunately, when the great calamity of the world came, the god emperor still could not escape death. However, after returning from reincarnation, this person carried the memories of the god emperor and rose wildly. Now, he was also one of the existences that could not be underestimated in the Tao realm. Emperor Donghua, have you returned from the Tao pagoda? The laughing Buddha from before cupped his hands and smiled at the person who came. There were very few people in the entire era who could make him bow so politely. Yes, the 1,000-year agreement has arrived. How can I miss such an opportunity? The man smiled faintly. He looked calm, but his every move carried the domineering aura of a superior. He looked at Goddess Yuing and said, now, except for Elder Huang Shan, everyone is here. However, Goddess Yuing, is your father really not coming? Father is in seclusion. It's also the most critical moment, so it's inconvenient for him to come. He entrusted this matter to me. Goddess Yuing said with a smile. So that's how it is. I knew it. How could he give up such an opportunity? So it's the most critical moment. Emperor Donghua nodded. Following that, everyone continued to talk about the matter of the 1,000-year promise. A 1,000-year agreement. This means that this kind of gathering has probably happened several times. You're tuning into the Han Lee's Wuxia Chronicles YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.